Okay. Hey guys, good afternoon and welcome to today's YouTube live conversation with me. My name is Glory Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Glory Elijah, and you're all specially welcome to today's conversation. Um, I did not put out a video this week. I really wanted to put out a video this week as sort of like a preamble to today's conversation, but a lot of things got in the way. And unfortunately, I could not put out that video. But I'm glad that we are having this conversation today because there's a lot to talk about. For those of us who are Nigerians, we know that there is no day that goes by in Nigeria as a country that something controversial doesn't find its way to the internet. There's always something happening in Nigeria. There's always something happening, and it is scarier because the multitude of things that happens, not all of them find their way to the internet. It is just a few that actually makes their way to the internet space. And even when you talk about the internet space, even the truth is it's not even it's not even up to 5% of the population of this country that actually is interested in everything that happens on the internet. So it makes you wonder that of all the information, of all of these news, all of these things that actually go viral, how many people even pays attention to them? How many people listens and how many people are bothered enough to do something about it? Last week, Saturday, we had a very, very interesting conversation about um, the character of us as Nigerians, our attitude to governance, our attitude to politics, and more importantly, to everything that happens in our society. You know, how lackadaisical Nigerians can be, the titles that we have bagged over the years of being the most enduring set of people, right? People who are very well known for their ability to adjust to even the most horrible kinds of situations. You know, people who are known to give up easily from complaining, right? We don't want to be seen as people who nag too much. So we just adjust to things and we adapt to situations and we just live life like, yeah, it happened yesterday. It's going to happen today as well. And, you know, in Nigeria, there's something that people say a lot about the internet and things that go viral that, oh, if it goes viral today, just give it one day. And in fact, before the end of that day, something else will go viral. So you always have to have data if you are Nigerian because the entertainment is never ending, you know, and it's quite shocking how people now see things that go viral on the internet space as entertainment, you know, to the point that even when it has to do with our lives, our safety, our sources of livelihood, people now just see it as entertainment. And as I said before, the politicians we have in Nigeria, they are the luckiest set of bastards in the world because everything they do has become so dramatic and they do whatever they like because they know that at the end of the day, Nigerians will not do anything about it. A few people who know very well how to use their data on social media will only complain, make noise, talk. And after that, everybody goes back to the business that pays them. Because after all, Nigerians, the most regular Nigerian is on survival mode. Everybody is so impoverished to the point that the only business that people want to mind is the business that puts food on their table, the business that actually pays their bills. Everybody is so busy and focused on how to get their next meal and how to just survive, right? So no matter what happens, people do not really think it necessary to pay attention, right? So that was the conversation we had last week, Saturday, right? So as I said before, this week, a lot of things have actually come up. And one of them is the news that the APC governors, APC is the ruling party, right, in Nigeria. So the APC governors, I think there are about 30 or 31 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Turns out that they have actually been siphoning funds from their state funds, keeping it and putting it together towards campaigning for the current president's re-election for 2027. And this money has amounted to about 800 billion naira. Ladies and gentlemen, when you think about that kind of money, what it can do for the states that these governors represent, that story will make you go really mad. You know, I was watching a particular news channel where their anchors were analyzing this story. And guys, I had so much rage in me. I had so much rage. And I told myself, okay, let me just chill. Let me just wait for the next 1, 2 days and see what's going to happen. And guess what? Nigerians are just living their lives. As I said, everybody is on survival mode. People are not talking about it. People are not necessarily giving it the attention that it requires. And once again, the thought I brought up last week that, wait, hold on a second. Are Nigerians not really angry enough? That question came up in my head again because it just made me realize that, okay, people are not really angry enough, or maybe people are not suffering enough. Because tell me why such an amount is being contributed by governors who are elected or probably planted in there, however way they got there, either by the legal way or either by crook, however way they got into that position of power, governors who are supposed to be serving their respective states, the money that they're supposed to use to build, to develop that state, they are taking funds out of it, keeping it aside to re-elect a president who, in my personal opinion, seems to be completely clueless as to how to elevate this country from where it is. Like, guys, make it make sense. And I was thinking, like, hold on, if this was a very, very, if Nigerians were fully conscious, like fully awake, fully aware of how backward we are in the world today, this should not be news that just comes and goes. It should be news that people would literally be marching to the government house in their respective states to demand accountability. That is what should happen. To demand accountability. But guess what? That news just came up, a few media houses, they talked about it. Obviously, we know that in same Nigeria, it is not all media houses that has enough balls to talk about certain news, certain news that comes up like that because of the fear of getting shut down. So it just came and just fizzled out like that. And it made me really sad. Smiling Josh is saying, Oga, talk with you. No, Josh, I'm afraid that this platform is not for you. All right. So you can leave, please. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. So it still boils down to what we talked about last week, that Nigerians are so used to enduring. Nigerians are so used to getting stifled. As a matter of fact, it seems like people just enjoy just being stifled, and according to what the average Nigerian would say, minding the business that actually pays them, which is them living on survival mode. They just continue like that. Nobody wants to address these issues. And then again, this is election season. This is election season. By the way, go and get your PVC if you haven't gotten your PVC. If you haven't even registered before, go ahead and register. Um, look out for the nearest INEC office close to you. Go and register. If you do not know what to do, just locate the nearest INEC office close to you. Go there and they would enlighten you on what to do, or you just go on to Google, just check step by steps, and you will be able to register or even collect your PVC if you've already registered but you're yet to get your PVC. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, um, yeah, one love, you're welcome. So, as I was saying, hmm, Nigerians, I just feel like we have gotten so used to the way things are that we do not see the need anymore to speak up when things are happening. And it's very sad because this is election season. The same politicians who have had the opportunity, some of them for many years, some of them have been in position in their various positions for more than 10 years, and they've not made any difference. They're not doing anything. What they just keep doing is getting allocations upon allocations, bettering their lives, settling their, what do they call them, their godfathers, settling them with money, and paying those people who continue to allow them to maintain that position that they are holding. Yeah. What we get is a regurgitation. The same thing we had 5 years ago is the same thing that they want to force upon Nigerians again. They want to implant again for Nigerians. But it's really sad because this very wicked reality, I think it's kind of lost on most Nigerians, that in the political sphere, it's more of a regurgitation that happens. People who do not know what to do, people who have no innovative way of thinking, people who have no clue at all about development, about growth, about enhancement, about elevating a country. People who are brain dead, most of them are the kinds of leaders that we have. And it's just really sad that when election time comes again, people just go with their sentiments and, they vote and re-elect those people. And sometimes it's really sad that even your vote does not count sometimes because rigging happens. However, that does not take away the fact that you, as a citizen of Nigeria, has a right to exercise your vote. And when you vote, it is also in your right to remain there and defend your vote. You see that the election, in fact, you see the election through to the end, and you ensure that your coming out to vote does not go to waste. So, my message again to all Nigerians, just as I, talked about last week, and just as we all discussed last week during our Saturday live conversation, my message to all Nigerians is we are not angry enough. We are not angry enough. We're not angry enough in the sense that we are not demanding accountability at all. We are not. We're not demanding accountability at all. We allow people who should not be in power to be in power. We allow people who should not lead us to lead us. And even those who already have the power, those who are already occupying those positions of leadership, when they are not performing, we do not complain enough. We do not agitate enough. And by agitation, I'm not talking about going to burn down things or going to cause riots or going to fight. No. But there's something called peaceful gatherings, peaceful protests. You can go and gather at the State House and demand accountability. But when we turn a blind eye to all of these things, it becomes normalized. There was a video that was circulating the internet this week. It was a video of a certain group of persons who had the current ruling parties. Is it the ruling party or the president's logo? I think it's the president's logo or his people. I don't know. But yeah, they just have this logo and they have this material, this uniform. They had their uniform and everything. And then they had stacks of cash, a lot of bundles. They had a lot of bundles of cash on a table. And then they had envelopes that had pictures of the president's picture. And then they called it cash empowerment on behalf of the president. And they were sharing this money to people. They were just taking some of the money, some of the stacks of cash. They'll put some of them in the envelope and then they'll share to people. And they were saying in their dialect that, oh, they should get the people's voters card. And, I don't know what they're using the voters card to do, but that has been the modus operandi since, I think so, since last year. This thing has been happening. Every time they claim they're doing some sort of so-called empowerment program, they go to the most local vicinities where they know that those people are poverty stricken. And those people do not know their left from their right. Those people, all they need is just their next meal. So they go to areas like that. And you see, this is why, we keep on talking about weaponized poverty. They deliberately, intentionally ensure that people are impoverished so that when it's time for election campaigns, because they have nothing else to offer, they come out and they give peanuts to people, buying people's votes and indirectly taking it by force. So that was a video that was, circulating the internet. And it wasn't just in one location, it was several other locations. And it was just really sad to see how, a lot of people were clamoring to get this envelope from these people that were sharing the envelopes. Most shameful of all for me was looking at the faces of the people who were doing the handing over, who were doing the handouts of the envelopes. I was seeing young girls, their faces, very, very visible in the videos, saying, oh, don't forget to collect the card. Oh, don't forget to collect your voter's card. I'm just seeing people. And it made me really sad. Because this is what happens every time. This is what happens every time. And quite frankly, you can't even blame the people who are clamoring for those envelopes because the way the country is currently, it's not easy for them. Most of all, it's not easy for them. So you can't even blame them. You can't even call them cheap. You can't even, people like that, you can't even go and talk to them and tell them that, oh, don't sell your votes. How do you tell someone that has not had a decent meal in a week? How do you tell such a person not to, sell their vote? I'm not saying it's okay to sell their, it's not like what they're doing is okay. No, it's not okay. It's never okay. But these are people who actually had hope that maybe this government, however way they got into power, maybe their lives would be better, but their lives have become worse. So what happens is when these corrupt politicians and their tiny little touts, when they go to those environments to go and distribute what they call empowerment funds, what happens is they see these people as the messiahs that they have been looking for. A lot of them will go to their places of worship to go and give testimonies and declare that, oh, they have been praying for a Messiah, a savior that will come and deliver them from hunger. So when those people come with their tiny little envelopes of maybe 1,000 naira or maybe 5,000 naira, which is less than $5 actually, they would clamor to go and get it. And at what cost? At the cost of their voters card. I still do not know why they keep on getting people's voters card, but at the cost of their voters card, at the cost of their conscience. And for them, the voters card is just a plastic, tiny little thing. So what do I need it for? I beg, I'm not going to die of hunger. So I'm just going to give it away. If they want to even take the voters card, they should take it away. I just need that peanuts, that 5,000 naira. So that's what happens every time. And it's a circle that repeats itself. So once again, I'll say that Nigerians are not really angry enough because there's just so much happening that I don't know if we're too scared. People just continue to turn a blind eye to all of these things, not wanting to do anything. People don't want to be seen as the one who spoke up, and then they come and carry you away. Because after all, there's a case that is still ongoing, the Justice Crack case, which is the next thing I want to talk about now. The Justice Crack's case. This is one person that has always spoken up for Nigerians, someone that has always used this platform to try to educate Nigerians on the happenings in the country, to try to give enlightenment to Nigerians about the situation of things, about our situations, and how to handle it and how to demand for a better country. And this young man spoke up for the soldiers in the Nigerian military about their poor feeding situation, their poor standard of living, about how they are not being catered to properly compared to their higher ups. And what happened? That guy was kidnapped, he was abducted by the military. Nobody knew where he was for I think about 3 days until I think the fourth day the military released a statement talking about this guy did this and did that. They were accusing him of so many things. The only thing they did not mention, or they probably did mention, but it was almost like they were accusing him of treason or trying to cause some sort of mutiny in the army. And it was so scary because it makes you wonder, like, how does this make sense? Because that video that guy did, anybody that is learned or even unlearned, when you watch that video, you will not see any of those accusations or allegations. None of those things were there. But anyways, that case is still pending. And then I think about 2 days ago, something really scary happened in the courts. There was a bail appeal. That man was meant to be released on bail. And then some very, very funny event happened that suddenly a particular lawyer or barrister, whatever, you know, he called it all off. Those who know the full story, they said it's a thing of ego at play, a thing of arrogance. I have watched videos upon videos trying to listen to all sides, but at the end of the day, here is what I have to say, right? Here's what I have to say. Just like I mentioned on Saturday last week during our live conversation, that there's something about Nigerians, right? As much as we think we're very proud, we think we're very resilient, we think we're very hardworking, which we are, of course. I'm not taking that away from us as a people. But there is also that mentality that the average Nigerian has. We always look for a hero. We always look for a messiah, especially this present day Nigerian youths. We're always looking for a messiah, someone that will give us direction, someone that will tell us what to do, someone that would first of all go to the war front before we now decide to, brush off ourselves, wipe off our boots, and then also go into that war front. Or better still, somebody that will go and fight the fight. And then we'll sit down behind our keypads on the internet, and then we'll shower accolades on the person and celebrate the person. What do I mean? So I looked at that whole situation, and it was just really sad because what I saw was a case of two parties. There are those who are the activists, those who are really fighting for freedom, for liberty, fighting for a better Nigeria. And then there's the other party that is also, in a way, fighting for self aggrandizement, fighting for glory. One party used to be regarded as the voice of the people, the voice of the poor, the voice of this and that. But of late, that voice has become sort of like the spokesperson for the oppressor. And it's just really sad to see. It's really sad. And you see, in a way, I'm not really surprised because this is something that from time to time tends to happen in the society. You see young people that just begin to come up, especially as internet sensations. They begin to do good deeds. They go to different communities, they help the poor, they create awareness of the situation of the people living in those communities. They they speak up for those people. They help people who do not really have a platform or who are not really vocal enough to state their cases on social media, try to attract the attention of the appropriate authorities, to get justice for those people. And they do a lot of good deeds and people celebrate them. People applaud them for their bravery, for their courage, and their consistency in doing good. But then as time goes on, the higher ups, they begin to pick interest in these set of people. They begin to pick interest. Now they know that if they crucify these set of people, it's probably going to cause a backlash. Why? Because in the course of these set of individuals doing the good that they have been doing, they've also been able to um, gain some sort of influence, and they've also been able to gain like a mob train, right? A lot of people, especially young people, who admire them for what they've been doing and what they claim to stand for. So these higher ups, they know that if they make the wrong move by crucifying these people, what happens? It could possibly backfire, right? Could possibly backfire. So what do they end up doing? They end up getting these people to work for them. They end up recruiting these people, you know, to become a tool in their own hands. Now, what happens is this: they do not entirely stifle this set of, in quotes, messiahs. They do not stifle them. They allow them to continue being vocal on social media, right? They allow them to continue being vocal. But their vocality, their freedom of expression is filtered. There are certain things that they cannot say. There are certain beliefs, there are certain things that they cannot stand for. Yeah. There are certain things they cannot, with their boldness, declare. They cannot speak when they desire to speak. They can't always stand for the glaring truth. So what do? They start sounding politically correct. They start filtering the facts. They start stepping in as distractors. Whenever something pops up on the internet or on the news media, as usual, what do? As a tool, as a pawn in the hands of the higher ups, what do? They have just one assignment, and that assignment is to cause a distraction. That assignment is to deflect from the real issues. That assignment is to derail the thinking process of their massive following. And you know the sad part of it all? You see, because their following have become so addicted to the, in quotes, to the good things they have done in the past. There's something they say on the internet: they can do no wrong in the eyes of their following. Their following become very, very obsessively toxic, headless chickens who no longer, they actually do have the capacity to think for themselves, but they no longer feel the need to think logically for themselves. So when things are happening, instead of them to sit down, think about the situation, think about the details of everything, put two and two together for themselves, by themselves, for themselves, to get the truth of the matter, what do? They go with the slogan of "this person can do no wrong in my eyes," and then they just follow that bandwagon. Currently, that is what is happening. That is what is happening. And it is so sad because when you check the profiles of a lot of these toxic following, when you check their profiles, you will see that a lot of them, sadly, actually look like the way they think. It's not like they're not educated. It's one thing to be educated, but it's another thing to understand how to channel the information you have, to learn how to reason logically. It's just really sad. So because a lot of Nigerians, as a matter of fact, the majority of Nigerians living in Nigeria, also even abroad, they are looking for a messiah. You see that particular influencer, that particular public figure that has been doing a lot of charitable works, that people have given so many praises, so many accolades, given so many credibility, and have been labeled as a person of integrity. When that person becomes a pawn, a tool in the hands of the oppressor, they cannot recognize it. Why? Because they are so blinded by the many good things that the person has been doing. So they do not think that person can betray their trust. But they forget that human beings will always be human beings. It takes someone that has been able to fortify themselves from the greed and the pollution of power. It takes one who has been able to fortify their mind and their emotions from the intoxication of power, of being in close proximity to power, or even possessing that power, to be able to uphold the trust that people have on them or in them, and to stay true to their path of fighting for the good of mankind. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, Nigeria precisely, that is not the case. Because when you look at this whole situation that's happening, you can see that this is a clear deflection. This is a clear manipulation of the whole situation, because I felt so bad for Justice Crack that because of ego, because of the need to claim glory or whatsoever, that young man who has a family waiting for him outside, he has to spend some more days in confinement till Monday again, when he's probably going to have his next hearing. It's really sad. So my message to every single Nigerian out there, especially the youths, stop looking for a messiah. Nobody is going to come and fix Nigeria for you. You are the one that will fix Nigeria. If you're one of those people who enjoys putting all your hopes on one person because you think that person has more sense than you, or because you think that person, the person has been doing a lot of charitable works, so that person is the actual right person to change the country, then you are deceiving yourself, because that person does not have two heads. That person is just like you. The only difference is that person who you see as your Messiah, that person started from somewhere. That person leveraged on the same social media as a tool to start speaking up for the good of others. That person started off with the same social media as a tool. That person utilized what was available to start getting that engagement that they wanted. They started from somewhere. They started using their phone. You have a phone as well. They started engaging people, getting that engagement that they wanted. And they did a lot of good works, don't get me wrong. But then what happens when a very vocal person who calls themselves an activist is arraigned by law enforcement? What happens? Two things happens. I'll tell you. Two things happens. Whilst they are in custody of law enforcement, depending on which arm of law enforcement gets them, right? Whilst they're in custody, they will go through a lot of disgrace. They'll go through a lot of inhumane treatment. They will bastardize them. They will torture them. They will starve them. They will maltreat them. They will seize most of their personal effects. As a matter of fact, they will put them in bondage. At the end of the day, they're probably given two choices. If you go back out there and you continue to speak up against us, that will be the end of you. Or if you go back out there, this level of influence that you have been able to amass, this level of power that you have now, gotten by virtue of how you've been very, very vocal over the years, you are now going to start using all of that weapon that you have in our own interest. That is what happens when an activist is arraigned by law enforcement, especially if it's a very, very corrupt system of government. That is what happens. So the moment an activist gets released back into public, watch them. Watch how they address issues that they used to address before. Watch their tone, watch their body language, watch the points that they raise, watch the timing of their commentaries. Very important. Watch the timing of their commentaries. Watch the way they take positions in matters. It is going to tell you if they are still for the people or they have automatically become a pawn in the hands of their oppressors. Watch very closely. And you see, in this matter that's currently happening this week, it's just very sad that a lot of people are so carried away with so many indices of, oh, this person did good, this person was a charitable person, They've gotten so carried away that they do not see how blurred the lines are now. And even though the lines are blurred, it's still very, very glaring that the people or the persons who you worship as your Messiah, the persons who you worship and consider as the Messiahs that will give you a better Nigeria, whilst you sit down in your comfort zone with your arms folded, it still hasn't occurred to you that those people are no longer speaking for the people. Yeah, they're no longer speaking for the people. Another angle to this is, tell me why, year in, year out, the government, people in power, they have all these resources. They claim they do not have, but you see that news that bursted out this week that these governors, after actually put together about 800 billion naira towards the re-election campaign for the current president, it just made me realize that it's a lie. They've been saying that there's no money, there's no money, there's money allocated. That's on the side, yeah. So tell me why the government, whose responsibility, according to their campaign, and what do they call that thing? What's the mandate? I mean, what, when during election campaigns, there is it propaganda or agenda or whatever, the things that they promise to do. Yeah. See those things that they promise to do. Some of them say, oh, we're going to build a lot of new schools. We're going to set up the health sector. We're going to build new roads. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. After making oh yeah, thank you so much. Manifesto. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So everything they promise in their manifesto, yeah, during election campaign. They promise so many things. And at the moment they get into power, they don't do even 1% of it. They don't. But then they now check the populace, right? Especially amongst the youths on social media. And then they now spot one or two voices that are very, very vocal. One or two voices who people admire a lot. One or two voices who, especially the Gen Z generation, they admire, they respect, they worship and see as their internet messiah. Sometimes even real life messiah, right? They spot these people, they now begin to invite them to their offices for photo ops. They invite them to their offices and then they do handshakes and then they do award presentation and then they call this person, oh, the man or the woman of the people. And then guess what? Immediately after that photo op session, the tone of those influencers' messages, it begins to change. Yeah, but that's not even the part that is even busting my head. The part that is busting my head is this. Yeah, these government officials that already made promises to perform, who already made promises, who already pledged via their manifestos during campaign season to do the most, to even turn Nigeria into heaven, way better than every other country in the whole world, right? They don't do stuff. They don't do what they're supposed to do. They don't work. They don't do anything. All they do is embezzle, embezzle, embezzle. But then you see those one or two influencers, what do? They invite those ones, and then what happens? They now give them millions, which are peanuts. Because the fact is, the money that they're supposed to use to invest in doing those projects that they promised that they were going to handle, it's actually a lot of money, which obviously they have. Yeah. But what do? They invite these influencers and then they give them peanuts. They give them like 50 million, they give them 20 million, and then they say, this is contribution so that you go and work on that school. You go and work on that house. You go and work on that one. You go and work on that one. So these influencers, they go ahead and they do the work. Yep. They do the work. They use the money. They do the work. Yeah. So when they do the work, they come out to claim that certain individuals in society, especially celebrities, they actually contributed or donated money and gave it to them to do the work. We know the politics behind all these things. So they claim that, yeah, they get all this money from certain individuals who have been gracious and generous enough to donate to a charitable cause. So after building pipe-borne, borehole, doing pipe-borne water, building schools, doing this, doing that, what happens? Somebody used the term here, social engineering. Perfect description for the situation. What happens is this, yeah? It now solidifies the trust between these said influencers and their following. And mind you, their following is both on the internet and off the internet, because what does a poor man really want to see? Question for you, what does a poor man really want to see? I'll tell you what a poor man wants to see. A poor man wants to see another poor man that gets donation from people to build a school for the poor people. So what happens in that instance is this: a poor man feels more relatable, or feels another poor person or another person that positions themselves as poor is more relatable to them. Why? Because most Nigerian politicians, they are aware that the average Nigerian who is poor does not like a typical Nigerian politician. So what happens? They will use these influencers that have become pawns in their hands, to do the work that they should have done many years ago, but they did not do. And now that they want to do it, they'll be like, okay, fine. To now maybe get more love and appreciation from people. Okay, so let's now use this person to bridge the gap between the average poor, impoverished Nigerian and the government. So all of these things are happening. And it's so sad that people are not really removing the scales from their eyes and seeing what's happening. Because tell me why more serious issues are happening in this country. And then one person whom sadly a lot of Nigerian youth actually regards as the messiah of them all is causing so much deflections. Deflection, derailing conversations from the actual directions that they're supposed to take. I'm not mentioning names because I'm not trying to give any undue publicity to anybody. And that is why I am speaking in general terms, because this thing I'm talking about is not just one person, it's not just two people. But if you are very, very familiar with the online internet space in Nigeria, then you already know the persons I am referring to. And it is so sad because whether you like it or yes, whether these set of individuals, they have done a lot of charitable works, which are quite commendable. We can't take that away from them. Whether we like it or yes, the fact is they have automatically become a pawn in the hands of the oppressor. And do you know what empowers them more? It is not the funds that the government actually gives to them or certain people actually gives to them. No, it is your validation that empowers them the more. You people have given them so much power. You have given them so much validation. You have given them the reins of your acumen, your reasoning. You've given, when I say reins, when you want to ride a horse, there's a rein you have to use to control the horse. Yes, that's the rein I'm actually referring to. You have given them the reins of your mind. You've given them the reins of your power of reasoning to the point that it is whichever direction now that they steer your mind and reasoning to, that is where you go. Sadly, you cannot allow your mind to function independently without their saying so. You are seeing things as clear as day, but the moment they set up their camera, set up their phone, and they come and start telling you XYZ, you now begin to like, oh yes, my master can never be wrong in my eyes. Oh, my messiah can never be wrong in my eyes. My messiah for life. Madness. You're mad. You don't even know you're mad. But sadly, that is the reality in the Nigerian society currently. Look at all the drama that happened in the courts over Justice Crack's bill. Tell me that your corrupt government officials were not having a field day laughing. They were laughing. They were having a good laugh because it was just so sad. It was just so pathetic to see people that are more like the voices of reasoning, getting bashed and dragged, and then they too had to now reduce themselves to the level where they now have to begin to explain themselves and defend themselves. And even when they're trying to defend and explain themselves, then there's also that other set of people who are always doing, my messiah is always right, my messiah is never wrong. And then when facts are spilled, the mob mentality, the bandwagon, they come out. They begin to cause very unnecessary deflections. Where Nigerians should be angry, should be mad at the situation of things happening in this country, they are not. It's just really sad. I really hope that Justice Crack gets that justice that he deserves, because everything that is happening to that young man, I do not pray for it to happen to anybody, because that is a very, very sad situation. A young man that chose to voice out. Because tell me why our Nigerian military should be eating like pigeons. Did you see pictures of the food that they were served? The Nigerian military that we are always, shouting about, that they should go and fight terrorists in Sambisa forest. Oh, they should come and fight criminality. They should go and safeguard our borders. The same Nigerian military that we're always demanding the world of when it comes to security and protecting our boundaries and sovereignty as a nation. The same Nigerian military that we want to cross the water, fire, and high mountains for us. Look at the kind of food that they are being fed. 3,000 naira per day for feeding. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are Nigerian, I want to ask you an honest question. Can 3,000 naira feed you alone in a day? Not to talk of an individual that has a family and responsibilities to take care of. Or you're always at the battlefront. Can 3,000 naira feed you in a day? Looking at the way things are extremely expensive. Huh? This young man, the only crime he committed, which frankly speaking is not even a crime, the only thing he did that landed him in this situation today is voicing out on behalf of soldiers in the Nigerian military. And these soldiers that needed him to use his platform to speak up for them, it is because they do not have a platform. Do you think a Nigerian soldier that is busy fighting crime in the north, fighting terrorists in the north, do you think they actually have time to be on social media making 1-minute videos, 5-minute videos, and doing TikTok videos? Do you think they actually have time? No, they do not. And for them to be complaining at this point in time, it's because, ladies and gentlemen, in case you do not know, every day in Nigeria, the situation becomes dire. The situation becomes more pathetic. It becomes more unbearable. And that is why I personally believe that they decided to seek out an individual that already has a platform that he uses to educate and enlighten people about things. If you follow Justice Crack on social media, that is what he does. Any news that comes up every day, he gives us his own analysis and also educates people on what it means, because there are certain news like that just comes up and sometimes you might not really understand. So he tries to use the best of his own understanding to analyze it, to explain it. That is what he does. And so he used this platform to speak up against the injustice, because that is what it is. Yeah. He spoke up against it. But you see, what he did is something that those in power do not like. Those in power do not like looking into mirrors. By mirrors, what do I mean? Those in power, they know that they are not doing shit. They know that they are not performing their duties and obligations to Nigerians. They know, but they do not like people telling them the truth. They do not like people telling them the facts. They do not like people holding up a mirror to their faces and telling them, look into the mirror and look at what you are. They do not like it. And that is exactly what people like Justice Crack actually did. And what Justice Crack himself did. He spoke the truth about the situation of the soldiers in the Nigerian military, and it stepped on the wrong toes. Which people? The higher-ups in the military. Because what Justice Crack said, what does that mean? It was more like an expose, more like it was exposing those in authority to actually make the situation of the average Nigerian soldier better. But they did not make it better. So it felt like exposing those people to the world that, oh, you have the funds, because For every budget every year, every Nigerian budget here, shebi they also put military budgets. They put military budgets, and feeding the Nigerian soldiers, it's part of the military budget, right? So the higher ups who have control of this fund, it felt like this guy stepped on their toes. And that is why he is actually going through what he's going through today. Sadly. And for the fact that, let me just round up by saying this, the fact that, in all I have said, oh, yeah, let me tell you the part that really pained me the most in this his bail appeal hearing that happened, was it 2 days ago? The part that pained me the most, yeah, I do not care whatever was said or done, or whatever happened, but the part that pained me the most is the part where this particular barrister, hmm, this particular barrister, out of whatever spirit that pushed him to do what he did, now withdrew that bail appeal, thereby sending that young man back into confinement. All because of what? In the legal profession, it is not allowed. Like, I was just, see, I watched so many videos between yesterday and today. My head was so hot and I was just so irritated. Whatever allegations have been piled up against this young man, we will fight it. But at least let him be granted bail first, because that young man has been tortured to the highest point of severity. That young man has been tortured so much. Let him just come out of that horrible situation first, and then we focus our energy on fighting whatever allegations has been, labeled against him. But then one barrister decided that he will call it back. And that's why I'm saying that I'm not mentioning the names of anybody, because I do not think they deserve any form of validation or any form of, I don't know. I'm not going to make anybody a celebrity on this platform today because they do not deserve it. As far as I'm concerned, we cannot be fighting ourselves when there is a bigger demon to fight. The bigger demon to fight against is the corruption in the government. That is the bigger demon. That is the enemy. The corruption, the deliberate weaponization of corruption to deliberately impoverish Nigerians. That is the bigger enemy. We should not be fighting ourselves. Because I ask you all the question, all of this nonsense, all of this madness that you as an average Nigerian is dealing with, as a Nigerian or wherever you are around the world, ask yourself one very honest question. Do you think the politicians in power, do you think their kids, their families, their closest families, do you think any of them is actually dealing with the same problem that you are dealing with? Let's say, for example, I wake up in the morning and I do not have lights where I live, yeah? And I need fuel in my car. So I go to the filling station and fuel is currently, let's say, 1,500, and I cannot afford to buy it. And that is my problem for the day. Do you think that is the same problem that the son or the daughter of a politician in Nigeria has? Those ones that convoys are already waiting to convey them to wherever they want to go. You think that is their problem? You think me now, if I wake up in the morning, I go to my fridge and I open my fridge and there's no food, and I'm now thinking that, what will I eat today? Do you think that is the problem of a regular politician in Nigeria? They're already well catered for. They're already, you see those politicians, in case you do not know, oh, you heard the one in, what's Kogi State, former governor of Kogi State, the case that he has that is still pending, which God knows why that case still has not been solved till today. Somebody embezzled funds as a governor and used it to pay his children's school fees in dollars ahead of time. I think, is it 5 years in advance or how many years? Thank you very much. Mel Adams is saying no, most of their kids are not even in Nigeria. That's the point. Whilst you are in Nigeria, you are struggling, you are thinking about where you see money to buy fuel, where you get money to have your next meal, where you're thinking about how to pay your house rent. Do you know that even a local government chairman in Nigeria, the future of their unborn children is already secured? I'm not talking about them, because the money they're supposed to use to fix your roads, to elevate your life, to just provide the most freaking basic amenities in your community, they've already used it to buy the latest car. They've already used it to build a mansion in their village. A lot of them, they've used it to go to Abuja to go and buy land. A lot of them use it to go to Lagos. They've used it to buy mansions. That's why the cost of rent in Lagos has skyrocketed so much. There's this delusion that Lagos is Dubai. Yes. So it's like, oh my God. So I'm not even talking about them because they have embezzled so much. So the lives of their children and unborn children is already secure, is already catered to. So that your daily problem is what you will eat. Your daily problem is how you will survive in Nigeria. Have you thought about how to remedy that situation? I'm going to stop talking here now. If you have anything to contribute to the conversation, please click the link in the comment section to speak. Today's the news this entire week was just breaking my head. I was just going crazy. And I thought, no, thank God I have a platform. Even though I have only 5 people that will hear me rant, let them hear me rant, because people live in Nigeria like everything is fine. People live in Nigeria like nothing is happening. People live in Nigeria like there's no problem in Nigeria. But trust me, there's a lot of problems in Nigeria. There is a lot of problems in Nigeria. And we need to talk about these problems and also talk about viable solutions, like ways that we can actually remedy these situations. Because at the end of the day, if you do not have money to japa, if you do not have a family abroad that is already well to do, or if you do not have a sponsor, somebody that will sponsor you abroad, if you are still stuck in Nigeria, best believe that your own don't finish if you continue to allow this level of impunity to prevail. That is a fact. I'm not naysaying here. No, it is a fact. If your life is not better off, if your life is not elevated, if you are not amongst the elite of Nigeria, if you're not amongst the 1% of the 1%, best believe that if you allow this impunity to continue, if you continue to sit down in your comfort zone and to look for a messiah that will speak up for you, your own don't finish. It is a fact. That's what it is. Anyways, the link is in the comment section. If you want to contribute to the conversation, you're welcome. Mr. A, you're welcome to the conversation. Thanks for joining. How are you?
Oh, not bad, Laurie. Can you hear me?
Yes, but you sound a bit low. Can you project a bit?
Okay.
Are you there?
Let the next speaker go on. Let me try and fix this.
Okay. All right, let's speak with Okoroma. Okoroma, you're welcome to the conversation. Okoroma?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. You're welcome to the conversation. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining. Please, let's hear your thoughts.
Truly, I will not lie to you. Things are really getting so hard and difficult. Anybody that is in Nigeria today that is not feeling the weight of things going on right now, is only deceiving himself.
Absolutely.
I was at that venue when Justice was arraigned in court. See, that lawyer is God that will judge him. Honestly speaking, it's God that will judge that lawyer. everything was set for that guy to be bailed for that day. Only for orders from above to just disrupt the bail application. So you could see, even from the media, you could see the things that were actually happening. Hello?
Go ahead. I can hear you, please. Go ahead. I have to mute myself.
So you could see the things that are actually happening. So is that bad? Now you see somebody that has a wife and a child, and you treat him like that simply because he spoke out in favor of the soldiers that are suffering in the hands of Boko Haram, bandits, and all that. The way they are poor condition, and then you decide to treat the guy just like that. Yes, I know there's a law. I know that there's a law in the army that there are some confidentiality that you need to maintain. But then again, these are people that are actually dying on the front line for us. And with their poor condition of living, it needs to be aired. Honestly. So these are the challenges that are going on in this country. There are so many things. These politicians that are saying so, they are already what do you call it? They are already mapping out future plans for their children. They are already like that. Some of them are even protesting for this coming election.
Mm-hmm.
I know of a state governor. His son is contesting for House of Rep. Wike, his two sons are also contesting this election.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how these guys are already strategizing themselves just for 2027. If we don't do anything on time, trust me, this country is going to be the way it is in the years to come. So now, Jackpot is even difficult. It's even harder than what you think right now. You say you want to Jackpot now, you need times 2 of the money that you have. Right now, you need times 2 of the money that you have. That is just the truth. So it keeps getting worse. It's just now, even the religious leaders will also have to come and say some things about the situation going on. Some of them are trying, but some of them are just keeping quiet just because of what they are benefiting from this government. We know these things. We just issues that are going on, the better.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Okoroma. I mean, you see, nothing you said, it is so true. If you want to even Japan now, you will even probably sell your liver and your kidney to want to be able to jackpot. Was it not early this year, at the start of this year, that most of those countries increased what's it called? Is it money for your blocked account? They increased all of those things. It is now extremely difficult, and that's the reason I keep saying.
Like Canada now.
Don't even mention Canada.
You need times two of whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you are a single person. How much more when you are married?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how bad it is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Okoroma. Thank you so much for your contribution. Mr. A is back. Mr. A, is your audio better now? Do you want to speak?
Hello. Can you hear me?
You still sound quite low. What's going on today?
Not sure actually.
You sound quite low. Mr. A, please fix your audio. So let's speak with the next person, all right? All right. Prestige is here. Prestige, you're welcome to the conversation.
Yeah. Sorry. It's in the morning here.
Oh.
I'm hearing some echo. I can hear my voice back.
Can you still hear the echo now?
Hello?
Can you still hear the echo?
No. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Please carry on.
Yeah, I'm hearing my voice back. But let me manage. Maybe after I speak, I can go. No, I gotta go back and come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. Wow. Okay.
Please. Okay. Mr. A. Okay. Mr. A. Okay. Mr. A.
Hello.
Okay. Welcome back. Please carry on. Everybody said they can hear you. So please carry on.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just grateful that you're actually having this opportunity to put this this discussion on your platform, because at the end of the day, so many people are. I in particular am actually very tired of the situation in Nigeria. It's just getting ridiculous, daily basis. And I think there's two things that need to happen. Yeah. I mean, one, I think we all come out in mass, and vote out this current government. And when I say in mass, I mean in mass. I think those people who are actually sitting on the bench, on the fence, and saying, "Oh, we are not going to come out," and well, they are going to be the ones who's also, going to suffer from the bad governance that is going to happen. So even though you vote, even though you don't vote, in the next sort of like, what's it called? In the next sort of like 4 years, you're going to still receive the bad government. So I'm begging each and every person who's actually on this live right now, please get your PVC. Get your PVC and vote. Don't say that your vote does not count. Don't say that your vote does not count. Your vote actually counts. Your vote is going to count. Yeah, we are going to make sure that our votes actually count this time. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that these people are actually out of this government. We need to make sure that these people are actually out of this government, because I think they're selling off Nigeria. That is how I'm actually seeing the situation at the moment. They are selling off Nigeria, and the citizens who are now in debt to what the government is actually doing. And people don't actually realize this. People don't actually realize that the fact that, the government will be taking loans, and we as citizens, we might be going on the streets and say, well, it's not my business, But at the end of the day, it's the citizens that actually has to pay for those loans that the government actually, taking. People don't put those two and two into equation. People just think that, well, I mean, they are stealing from the World Bank, they are stealing from, the natural district, so it doesn't affect me. Yes, it does affect you, because you, the consumers, are actually going to be paying back that money that these governments are actually, are borrowing for their lavish lifestyle. That's the bottom line. So please get your PVC if you can. Get your PVC if you can. Those in Nigeria, please get your PVC if you can. Don't actually sit on the fence and say, oh, I'm not going to vote. Don't sit on the fence and say, oh, I'm just going to stay in. Even though you've got your PVC, I'm not going to come out and vote. One thing people don't actually realize is, if we actually turn out in numbers, there's no way this current government can actually rig the election. I know there's going to be rigging, but if we come out in mass, if like 80% of the total people actually come out to vote on that day, there's no way in this world that the ruling government can actually rig the election. That's the bottom line. Yeah. So I'm going to be begging each and everybody. I mean, look at what's actually happening to Justice Clark. I mean, we've seen it all. I mean, someone who's come out to even talk about, the army. What's how the armies, the people on ground, the foot soldiers, how they're being treated. Yep. And you're actually arresting him. I mean, what sort of country is this at the moment? What sort of country is this? Someone's coming out to actually say these people who are actually on the ground, they are not actually being taken care of. But yet you're arresting the person because you don't want whatever he's actually come out to actually say. You don't want it, you want to actually stifle, people's voices. That's what it is. Oppression. Let's show our force. And then, everybody else, the next person won't actually dare to actually do it. That's what they're saying. And then they need to be careful with this part. As they keep on saying, look, Malami was there. He was what was he? Was a AG? Was he? Oh, he had a high position in the Buhari's regime, and it's today he's actually being sent to to jail, being reprimanded and stuff like that. The same with El Rufai. So don't think that you're going to have this power, for all all your life. At the end of the day, someone's actually going to take over. So please, please, I'm begging each and everybody who's actually out there listening to this live. If you're young, please go and register for your PVC. I know some people will actually say it doesn't count, but let us actually make a difference. Even though it doesn't count, let us all come out in mass to actually vote on that day. Let's see what is actually going to happen, because now, if we actually have people who, if we actually the people now, we know how the 2023 actually went. Yeah. So now we want to say, listen, we are going to defend our votes this time around. Let's see whichever angles they're actually going to come out with. But this time around, we're going to defend our votes, because this is just getting ridiculously crazy. Seriously. Everybody's tired. Even the supporters of this ruling party are even complaining. That is how bad it is. They're not buying fuel, they're not buying bread, they're not buying rice, any different price from everybody else. There's some people in the ruling party who actually formed and actually said, you know what? They're actually tired. So please, this is my appeal to each and everybody who is actually out there. Listen, vote for whoever you feel. We're not forcing anybody to actually vote for, but at least come out and actually vote. Let's change this. Let's show these people that we actually have the power and not them. The power comes from the people, not the power comes from the politicians. The power comes from the people. We put you in there. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we can actually, tell them that, this, whatever is actually happening, we actually have the power. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Yeah.
Hello, Glory.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. A, for your contribution. Guys, I really apologize for the echo. I just realized, someone said it's coming from my end. So what I'm doing is, whilst you are speaking, I am muting myself. So if you don't hear me give any feedback, just know that I don't want the echo to return. All right. So I'm going to be muting myself. All right. Let's speak with Feli D. Feli, you're welcome to the conversation.
Hi. Thank you. Hi, Chloe. Hey, everyone. Happy Saturday. Okay. So, firstly, I'll start by giving you your flowers. Thank you for setting up this whole platform, and even contributing to the conversation or encouraging the conversation is what needs to be done right now, right, in the space that we are in. And yeah, thank you, Glory. I think me and you, I think we share the kind of same personality. I've always, I always try to look. This is my first time actually speaking on any platform. I always have so much to say, but I'm like, you know what? You don't want to talk. Like, not everyone deserves sort of, but thanks for this. This is a conversation that needs to be had. I'll try to focus on what we want to talk about today, because oh my God, Nigerians' problem is too much. If you put body, you'll be exhausted immediately. Okay, so let's start with Justice Crack's bail appeal. It's just appalling that we have to be dealing with such a thing. It's unheard of. Like, this is, you know what? It shouldn't be happening. Justice shouldn't be in prison. Justice still shouldn't be in prison. Sometimes I don't know if our problem are the elder people. I don't know how they think. I don't know how they process information. Because why will a military person, you serve the citizens? You don't have the right, like, it makes no sense at all, because we deal with things. Nigeria is being operated right now. Nigeria doesn't have governance. It's not happening. What's happening in Nigeria now is it's like having a king and his people on the throne. And we keep taking these things, and it just becomes a merry-go-round. The same thing keeps happening over and over again, and the people don't say anything because they would rather just be followers, watch politicians live their life at the expense of of the people. Okay, so the thing is, we're not children. We saw Nigeria get to this point. It's interesting that on the media nowadays, you see people creating narratives of Nigeria being as bad as this right from time. It was never like this. Never. I grew up in Abuja. Abuja used to be one of the safest cities in the world. Not in the world, in Nigeria. When all of this started to go downhill was it 1999 or 2000? No, 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 no. Something around after 2000, way after 2000. We used to have light. You could travel in the night. Like, even when I was in university, it wasn't this bad. It all happened like 10 years or 8 years ago, and everything just downhill. And we're not finding this thing. And everything works in line with when Nigeria started to become too religious. But like I said, let me not get into Nigeria problem, because if you start, you cannot finish. Okay, activists. It's crazy that the reasonable people are the ones seen as stupid now. Last year, I was having a conversation, was with my mom and my friend, and I told them that it's sad. When I started to see this mob action, I was telling them, they didn't even see it then when I saw it. I was telling them that it's sad that we have a youth population that can relate more to a certain character than another character. It's sad. Because when you see that kind of thing, you then start to see the way people reason, right? If people can see one person say, oh my God, he's so smart. Oh my God, so what's it? And yourself, and you're looking at it, you're like, what is so smart about what this person just said? Like, wait, what is going on? Am I the person that is slow or what? And then you start to, when I started to engage, because I'm a sociologist, and like I'm a social science kind of person. You start to go into comment sessions, and you see people that are not even using their brain. It's like they closed it off. They don't read to comprehend. They watch a video. Sometimes they just look at the what is said on the video. They don't even watch the video to the end, and they just take narratives and start flying with it. It doesn't even make any sense. And you're like, what is going on? And I understand that is the education system. Like, I if I'm going to invest in Nigeria, a lot of people are not even investing in Nigeria now, because you're wasting your money. So how are people going to see jobs? I don't know when Nigerians will start to understand that this is a ripple effect of a society that is not working, a failed society. You say it to them every day, and they're in denial. And you wonder what they're in denial for. What are you people denying? That nothing is working? Like, Nigerians deserve way better than the life they're living right now. It doesn't have to be this hard. And the thing that is annoying now, that Nigeria can happen to anybody. And some people are still sitting there in their house and worshiping this celebrity. Like, anyway, let's get back to it. Activist, I really don't buy into the mob mentality. There's somebody that I think is really rough around the edges, and the youths can relate more to him, and they have decided to make him a savior. It's sad, but it's what our society has turned into, because we encouraged it, right? It was from Yahoo Boys. You start to see that there's a pattern with the kind of people that navigate down to that side. There's a pattern. They don't want to be told that you're doing wrong. They're self-absorbed. They don't listen. And everybody thinks that they're so smart. The thing is that if you see them in the comment section, they say, oh my God, you're so dense. I'm like, wow. Just wow. So it's a bunch of morons that think that they are, I'm sorry, I don't want to, it's just annoying, because yesterday you see everything happen, but yesterday was kind of like, it kind of blew up for people to really see it in their faces. Something will eventually blow up, but we saw it in our faces that we are not only dealing with a daft set of politicians that are just criminals that manage to find themselves in the place of government. We all know how these things happen. It's a ripple effect. Nigeria has been keeping quiet since. We keep bringing in criminals. It started with Buhari, somebody that came forth, you allowed him to be governor. That is how all these things start. When you start to put people that are not the right people into places of position, you're going to get what you're going to see. If you don't have people that cannot be influenced by money, the president you have now will not be on the seat. So at the end of the day, it's a ripple effect of what we have encouraged, right? Still down to the classism, but activists, Nigerians will always go with that they can relate to this person, and then this person is showing them what they would have loved to be. It's also a sign of how much into poverty the society has been plundered, right? Because it's when people are not in a good position, they forget themselves, they feel defeated, right? They become followers, they don't want to have a voice, they don't think they have a voice. So I keep saying it's a defeated people. And it's just, we can't keep quiet. That's why what you're doing now is so important. We can't keep quiet, because if we let the people that don't have sense to keep speaking, if we're not engaging, then we're going to have a big problem. And then the naysayers are also there. We have so many groups of people to work with, but if you're a reasonable person, you need to not keep, you can't stand on the fence right now. You cannot. You have to be speaking anywhere that you are, and you have to participate. I intend to go home and participate, but we have to participate. It's very important. And me, in as much as I feel like sometimes I'm putting myself on the line when on social media I see some of these people and I engage them, I've told myself I can't keep quiet, because some people are reading, right? Some people some people don't have a mind of their own, and they like to see those arguments happen, and then their mind can kind of like swing. So if you're someone, I see people that like to engage. If you're someone that engages, please keep doing it, right? Keep lending your voice as much as possible. And Glory, we appreciate you. Keep it up. You are an activist. You don't know it, but you are. You are an active citizen. Just keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Feli. I don't know why the echo is an issue today. Whilst you were speaking, I was literally just shouting over here, yes, 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 because everything you were saying is fact. And joy that everything that was happening yesterday, someone else was actually seeing it all. And listen, I just wanted to, yeah, that is just the situation we have indirectly created for ourselves. Because as you rightly said, this society now, especially amongst the youth, it is now a society where we allow people who need to go back to school to become the face and the voice of the people. And it's really sad, because sometimes you hear certain things that some of these people are saying, and you're screaming in your head like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you doing? So it's just really sad. But at the same time, I am happy that there are also the likes of you that actually see the truth and is able to call a spade a spade. So thank you so much. And I appreciate your appreciation as well. Thank you so much. I would continue to speak up because, frankly, I am fed up. I am fed up.
Nobody
Honestly,
can
I'm
say you.
fed up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's speak with OV Man. OV Man, you're welcome to the conversation. I will mute myself so that I do not, create the echoes. So I'm right here. All right. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much, Glory. Can you hear me? Maybe you can nod if you want me. Can you hear me?
OV Man, are you there?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. I don't know if OV Man is ready to speak. OV Man, are you ready to speak?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Let's speak with Madam, because Okoroma was the first person to speak. Oh, Oviman, they said they can hear you.
Yeah, we can
I
hear
can't
him.
Well,
hear you.
yes,
Oh, okay.
we can hear
Oh my
him,
We
God,
can
I don't
Gloria.
hear
even know
him.
what's happening today. I can't hear you at all. So
Can
you
hear
know
Can you hear
what?
me,
me.
Gloria?
Let me remove you and add you again and see if I can hear you. All right, hold
Okay,
on.
okay,
Can you
okay.
hear me, Gloria?
Yeah.
Glory.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
can you speak now? Let me see if I can hear you.
What's going on?
Hello, Glory. Can you hear me?
Uh, what's happening? I
Glory.
can't hear him.
He can,
Okay,
she can't
Oviman,
hear
can you
nobody.
please do
What's
me a
going on,
favor?
Gloria? You
Can
can't hear
you
Oviema and you can't hear
I
remove
think
Tracy.
people
yourself
should
and
type.
then
People should type to
come
let her
back?
know.
All right.
We can
I
hear
am also going to
ourselves.
remove myself to see
Yeah, she
if I
should
can
remove
come
herself
back
and come back
and
in.
also hear everybody. All
Gloria,
right. Okay.
can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes, I
thank
can
you.
hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, is the echo still there? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can
Yes,
hear
I can
you.
hear you.
This is great. I had to remove myself. I apologize for that. Ovi Man, I think, is he here? Oh my God, I told him to remove himself. Guys, is the echo still there? Can you hear the echo?
No, we can hear
No, we
you,
can hear
Gloria.
you.
Oh, thank you so much. So that was a great move to remove myself and add myself. Okay, it's just sad that Ovi Man had to leave as I told him to leave and come back. So the madam, and then Oviman returns, when Oviman returns, I will bring him on. All right. So, Madam
Okay.
de Madam, you're welcome. Thanks for joining the conversation.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I think I
I
can
think
hear
I
an
can hear
echo
an
now.
echo now.
So I'll just keep speaking, Glory. Thank you, Glory, for providing this platform because I've been wanting to rant for a long time about this issue going on. I grew up as a military kid because my dad ended up retiring as a colonel in the army. And I can tell you for a fact that what's going on with the army now has always been happening. I feel like with the military or amongst the defense, across the defense teams, whether it be Air Force, Navy, the police, the army officers, one thing that is sure about those different groups of people is lawlessness. And one thing about it is that that lawlessness is in existence because whatever laws that Nigerians have or have been instituted is never enforced, especially for the military, for our police officers, or across board for them. So for them to have picked up Justice Crack in the way they picked him up, right? Not have reported that they had picked him up to any of his family members, friends, nobody, for them to have tortured him for a couple of days, right? And then they now give him over to the DSS, and the DSS are still keeping him in another custody again. That's an abuse of human rights, period. And I don't know what laws exist. I can't really speak to it for a fact. So maybe a lawyer needs to come and tell us whether this is actually like the process for picking up people that speak out against military. I feel like for them, fundamentally, you can speak out against something that is. If somebody sends you a video, right, of poor poor feeding for the military, right? And you put it out there. This is something that you give the military officers. Wherever they are getting the food from, I don't know. Is it a secret? This is public. I feel like it's public knowledge. Sometimes I heard that they're meant to give them a stipend, right? For them to buy this meal, whether it's 3,000 or whatever. And this is something that you're cooking for them. First of all, it's kind of even weird to me that he's speaking out on behalf of military officers, and then military officers in their lower ranks will capture him, right, and torture him. Those same people that he's speaking on their behalf are the same ones that are torturing him. It doesn't make sense to me. And one of the speakers rightly said that this can happen to anyone. So people that are thinking that, hey, they are high up there, their money is protecting them, or they have different security people that are protecting them, one day it can happen to any one of us. So if any one of us are not speaking out against what is happening to Justice Crack right now, it can be your brother, it can be your sister, it can be your sibling, it can be your uncle, it can be your auntie. I feel like none of us should keep quiet again as to what's happening right now. That's why I'm really glad that you created this forum for some of us that have to really vent out this issue. I'm currently in America now, and sometimes I think about the system and I think about Nigeria compared to America. And I'm like, the only difference between the two countries is that they have laws that are being enforced. I read on the news yesterday that there was a 24-year-old mayor that was elected into office in, was it Pennsylvania or New Jersey? I can't remember, right? And he kind of defeated an incumbent that was in that position for 10 years. And I was thinking about it and I was like, because there's a system that actually works, when people feel like they want to change people in power, there's no bribery and corruption that needs to happen. Their vote counts. When they go to put their votes in, the votes count. So everything in Nigeria, I just feel like it boils down to what is being enforced, the lawlessness that is in place. And the system that I see that happens in Nigeria is that across board, right? If you look at people that are just doing lower level jobs, even to the higher level jobs, you find that we have people that their mentality, everywhere that you go, they're thinking about how to cheat one another. They're thinking about how to bribe their way to get an upper hand. They're thinking about how they will do things, right, that are unkind or hateful, or that they will try to one up somebody else, regardless of how they get to that position. Why did war happen in Edo State in Nigeria happen, right? Why did it happen? Why was that police officer so confident in killing the guy that he killed, or taking somebody else's life? He had been doing it for a long time, and nobody can tell me different. He had been doing it for a long time. The only difference right now is because it was captured on camera that he did exactly what he did. He had so much boldness and confidence to do what he did, right? So you see this thing across board, and it's very painful. What I would say, just to kind of wrap up, because I don't want to spend a lot of time. I am driving right now, and maybe I'll call back again when I reach my location, because there are so many things on my mind that I want to say today. What I think across board is that let our voices keep on resounding. I am very disappointed right now in our president. I am very disappointed in our vice president, and I'm disappointed in many of our elected officials. Maybe they are not even elected. That's why they are doing what they are doing. I'm very upset that they are keeping quiet as to the injustice that is happening against this boy. In many countries, it just takes the president to just say a word before that boy is released. Why is he going through this headache? Why is he going through this headache? What did he really do? Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not saying anything. The vice president is not saying anything, Shetima. Nobody is saying anything about this. And I'm like, is this right? Is this a type of society that somebody needs to come back to and come and sit down and think that things will work? I get scared. I came back to Nigeria, was it like a year and a half ago? And what I was seeing in Nigeria with the way things were operating, I'm like, this place is just a place to come and visit 1 week and go back. It's not a place I want to come and sit down and come and be getting a headache over. Things are not working. And it's just true. And I don't feel like I'm part of the lower class in Nigeria. I mean, the middle class. And I'm like, what middle class? The middle class is still suffering. Every day you're hearing from people back home how things are hard. Everything is hard for our people. And our government is not making it any easier. This should not be happening to anybody, especially Justice Crack. And then lastly, I will end on our celebrities as well. Our celebrities are too lackadaisical, nonchalant. They go about their life like nothing is happening. It's not anywhere belle face, because anything can happen to them at some point. When I see Instagram or I'm looking at the news and I see our celebrities continue on with life as if everything is working out in Nigeria, I'm like, this is a false reality of what is going on in Nigeria. Why are they not speaking out? What are you so scared of? What are you so scared of? You have a position of influence, where your voice goes a long way. Your platform goes a long way. Most of our celebrities are not saying anything. They are going on with their parties. They are going on with their normal things. You see them spending money like no tomorrow. I don't believe in our celebrities in Nigeria. Most celebrities you see in other countries, even in America, that I can give as an example, they have platforms that push social things that cause social difference. Their influence is greater than just influencing creams, influencing jewelries, influencing cars, influencing makeup. They go beyond that. They go beyond that. So our celebrities, I'm calling them out. Anybody that is still following any celebrity right now, you need to be calling them out. They are too lackadaisical. They are too nonchalant. Their voices, they are too quiet for my liking. I'm so sorry. I don't want to get heated right now. But Glory, thank you so much. When I get to my destination, I have so much more to say. But I'm going to end it here. Let's keep on speaking out for Justice Crack. Even when he comes out, he needs to sue the military. He needs to sue them. He needs compensation for what has happened to him. He cannot keep quiet. And this cannot be thrown under the rug. because it can happen to any one of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam the Madam. This echo thing is pissing me off because I just had so many reactions whilst you were speaking. First, let me begin with the middle class that you mentioned. My sister in the Lord.
Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please hold on, sir. I'll tell you the gospel truth.
Hello?
Hello?
There is no more a middle class in Nigeria. That is the sad news. There is no more a middle class in Nigeria. Yeah. The way things are right now, see, the price of fuel alone, that should just, it just completely ended that tripartite structure of the elite, the middle class, and the lower class. Currently, there is no more middle class. So what we have is the extreme lower class and the 1% elites. That's what we have currently. But that's conversation for another day. The second thing you mentioned, the celebrities. Listen, I know I probably do not matter in the grand scheme of things in the lives of every Nigerian celebrity that is literally turning a blind eye to what's happening in the country. But I beat my chest and I wear it as a badge of honor when I say that I, Glory Elijah, I do not rate any so-called Nigerian celebrity that does not speak up for the general public. I do not rate any of them. There's only a few of them that only speak up. And out of that few that speak up, yeah, the one, two, or more that even speak up, they only speak up when something disastrous happens to them or their family member. Yeah. But I'm telling you as a fact that there's only maybe one, two, or three Nigerian celebrity in this day and age, that will just wake up in the morning, see the way things are very bad, and then pick up their phone and make a video to address it. But you see the rest, they are either accomplices or they are benefiting from the system one way or the other. And it seems like they are on this mission to create this what's it called? This I'm trying to look for the word for, like, Jesus, my brain is hot. They're trying to create this falsehood of happiness, of joy, of everything being perfect and wonderfully okay with Nigeria. When you see the kind of content that they post via their social media accounts on this God's given social media, you can just tell that there is a deliberate move. Probably they're receiving instructions from God knows where, I don't know, but there's a deliberate move to create this facade that, oh, there's no problem in this country, that everything is fine. A lot of these people know how much they spend in funding their lifestyle. But a lot of them are also beneficiaries, one way or the other, to corruption. So they will never come and speak up. A lot of them are in the business of gaslighting the average Nigerian to think that you are crazy for even complaining that things are wrong in this country. They put a lot of flowery images, they take a lot of pictures, they do vlogs. Oh, spend the day with me as I go and do my teeth. Spend the day with me as I go and do this. I mean, each to their own, everybody live their own life. But Madam the Madam, as you rightly said, what will it take for these people to put aside that facade for once and act like a normal human being that is living in a country that is not growing, that is living in a country that is only growing in population, but also reducing in population at the same time, because insecurity is at an all-time high. That was how one time, like that, one of them came out to come and complain about how, oh, I was driving and the police assaulted me. Nigerians, I want justice. I'm sorry to say, oh, but in my mind, I say justice kill you there. Come and collect justice. Because when it is happening to other people, you conveniently keep quiet and you allow that evil to prevail. But when it now happens directly to you and people in your corner, you now come and make a video and be asking your fans and well-wishers to help you look for justice. May justice kill you there. But when you talk about Nigerian celebrities, I'm sorry, you are looking towards the wrongest set of people. But because you see this so-called Nigerian celebrities, the fact of the matter is they are only trying to polish their image, looking for sponsorship, looking for endorsements, looking for ambassadorial deals because they don't want people to see them as political. They want people to see them as people that do not, smear themselves with the business of politics. But then they forget that this same politics that they are shying away from, it is the same thing that is affecting every single one of them. And another thing about these so-called celebrities, one thing they also forget is that they are the ones that are celebrities. Their father, their mother, their relatives, their cousins, their nephews, their nieces, they are not the celebrities. It is just them. So if they are benefiting from wherever, if they are benefiting from corruption, if they are benefiting from the impunity happening in this country, one way or the other, Nigeria could, I'm not praying for the worst, but Nigeria could happen to them, because the fact of the matter is Nigeria could happen to anybody. And anybody could be me, it could be them, it could be their loved ones, it could be their own people. So if any of us here is actually expecting these so-called Nigerian celebrities to speak up, I'm sorry, you're looking in the wrong direction. Because you see those ones, I have no words. Anyways, thank you so much for your contribution, Madam de Madam. I look forward to having you here again. Let's speak with Ovi Man. Ovi Man is back. Welcome, sir. Thanks for joining again.
Thank you, Glory. Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. And listening to you for some time now, I know that you're someone that will not keep quiet to evil. I know you're someone that will always speak out against some of this evil that we are seeing in our society, and they call it corruption, but it's actually evil. Thank you once again, and greetings to everyone listening, the panelists, also the people that are in the comments, everyone listening. So, like you rightly said, the thing is, some of these issues that we are having, the lackadaisical attitude of our people is sometimes it has come from, I think it has come from mostly, this like I always say, this thing of human worship. I will call it the Lagos Dobale mentality, and also just people trying to, this thing now that people are like worshiping money and worshiping. Everybody is all about chasing success. What they deem as success. You know, so the only thing they are thinking of is how to go and make money. How, even if the money is coming from Satan himself, as long as they will count themselves among the people that have made money. And this mentality also came from just the poverty, and poverty has driven many of our people not to be able to even think. They are not even able to, to speak out for basic things. I was talking to somebody else from Nigeria, and the person was talking about how how the whole thing is, Nigerians are very they're very resilient, and they don't the government doesn't need to work for people to be happy. And I was trying to make him understand that it is not a good thing. Yes, it can be a survival thing, but it is not how it's supposed to be. Maybe it's good for you if you are outside Nigeria, because as an immigrant or as a foreigner, you have limited rights. So if there are ways you can be able to succeed, yeah, maybe it's good for you. But in your country, what is the point of some people being in public offices and funding their lifestyle with taxpayer money and also the resources of the country, if at the end of the day you don't care about what they do? So what's the point of them being there? So it's better they are not there. if there's nothing that they're supposed to do for you, so that mentality is what has been affecting Nigerians. And then before I continue, Glory, I don't know, I didn't follow so much the uh, exactly what happened with Justice Crack in the courts. I think I heard you mention some of it. I don't know if there's any way you could just maybe briefly tell me. Yeah.
Okay. Frankly, sir. First of all, I'm going to put a disclaimer. I wasn't there, so just going by the narratives from all the parties involved, except Justice Crack himself, because of course he cannot speak up for himself. But the end story is that a certain barrister who wanted to be the one at the forefront of the case, they said he put his signature on the bail application. So he said he's the one that applied for this young man's bail. And because he came back and said it has to be him to, handle the whole thing and introduce other lawyers and blah, 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 egos clashing, he withdrew the bail application. So that resulted in the court sending Justice Crack back to confinement until the lawyers are able to reach an agreement on who wants to be at the forefront of representing him. So there's a lot of details, a lot of long narrative, lengthy videos from both parties. The Mama P and the Peters part of the story is that Justice Crack already had a representative, but he had a lot of engagement on that day. So he had sent two lawyers to go stand in for him. Now, this particular barrister, Marshall, he came and said he wants to handle the case. So the narrative is like, it's not like they invited him. He came. So nobody knows if maybe the wife called him, because he is claiming that the wife called him. Professor Marsha is claiming that the Justice Crack's wife called him. I don't know. It's what they said. So he said he wants to handle it. But then in the course of this, after the bail application had been made, it said that the guy, he traveled to Turkey for vacation. So he was sort of unreachable, people calling him for details and trying to carry him along the case. There was a miscommunication, there was a gap in communication. And then when it was the set date for the hearing, he appears and he wants to be the one at the forefront. Now, this party is saying that the other two lawyers, they are a senior in the profession. When the barrister Marshall had his own interview, he said he is their senior. So for me, I'm thinking, so all this clash of egos, all to what end? Yeah. But at the end of the day now, my pain is that the justice crack that people have been fighting for to come out of detention has had to be sent back to detention because this particular barrister Marshall decided to annul the application, the bail application, because according to him, he's the one that applied, so they should have allowed him to handle the case.
Yeah. Glory. Thank you for that, because I actually didn't follow so much of what happened in the courts. And I think what I would say is, the wife, if the barrister is claiming that the wife called him, then I think she should do the due diligence of clarifying that either by denying or confirming, and the people that are, that's just the same mentality of me, I'm the big man, so that's what is prevalent in our society. So instead of looking at the common good, sometimes people are there trying to build their own CV, their own profile, their own popularity, instead of looking at the common good. That's the problem that some of us that we are seeing. And the main point is that Justice Crack, like everyone has rightly said, shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. We are not in a military system of government, and the fact that he spoke, he highlighted the conditions of the soldiers. Well, the soldiers can say that they are trying to avoid some kind of disunity or some, whatever that will come out from all of that within their ranks. But it's not something that they are supposed to handle, even if they feel maybe they can coin up and just create some crazy allegation. But it's not their responsibility to go and detain a civilian, because I'm told that you're not supposed to even detain a civilian for more than, is it 24 hours or 48 hours? And they've held that man there in a normal society where things are working. Things like this, it's impossible to happen. So they took this man. I'm told that they tied him, according to what they were saying, that they hanged him on a tree or tied him on a tree for days or something. And so imagine, what is their guarantee that this man would have even survived all of that? You know. So it's part of the dysfunction, the abnormality, the insanity that we are dealing with in Nigeria. So it's something that has been normalized, and that's why these people feel like they can do anything they want. And the people that they are not speaking up, because it's a corruption thing that I'm sure that has affected more of the bosses in the military. So it's so for them, because it's not like they don't have they don't have the means to be able to feed the soldiers properly, but so it's like you're trying to expose them. And the man himself, Justice Crack is an effective online reporter activist, because he's not just on YouTube and all that, he's also on TikTok, and he makes, like, there's a way, I saw some of his content, and I'm like wondering, like, the man is very intelligent, the way he does his own content, kind of limits everything to 1 or 2 minutes and says a lot at that point. And, things fly, people with short attention, span, they can easily follow his content, because he kind of compresses everything and tries to make it clear for people to understand some of these things to the best of his knowledge. So it's unfortunate. So they should be able to put away their egos, like you said, and they should be able to stop looking for popularity and building their profile, and just allow this man to come out and go and meet his family. you know then, like you also said about the activists or the bellevists. you know these people, some of the issues with them is that, um the way they came in, it's very tricky, and you analyzed it perfectly. The way they always come in is, they come in and they tackle those issues that is really giving people concerned. So when they tackle those issues, then after some time, when they are now behind the scene doing their deals with all of these other people, they don't just come out. That's the problem with our people. They are expecting these guys to just come out and just go all the way to the other side. People think that life is white and black. It's somewhere in between. It's not this side or that side. The truth is always at the middle. So you have to be able to look beyond. It's not like if somebody is not bad, then that person is good. No. Sometimes you can be able to take the good parts of someone, and with your eyes open, and when you see that person also do some things that is wrong, you might not come out and attack that person or insult that person, but you should be wise enough not to also accept that as the truth. And but they understand that many of the people will not think that way. So they know that. That's why you see some Mumu fan who come out and say, you cannot do wrong in my eyes. No matter what you do, we are for this person, and we are, the same thing they do, the same thing they usually do, in this program that we knew you for. This program, you understand, when some fans will come out and say that nobody, that person cannot do wrong in their eyes.
The Big Brother Niger fanatics. That's
Thank you.
exactly what we're seeing happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what has been going on in the space, and it's a psychological operation. It's social engineering, like you said. It's they know exactly what they are doing. So people are expecting these people to just come out and say, "Oh, government that they are expecting them to be just directly bad to say, oh, we don't need the government is good." So that they can now accept that those people are, but they are not fools. They know that they can't say that. So what they do is to dance around the whole topic. Oh, people, they will just keep dancing, dancing. Once in a while, they will even attack the good to make so that the people, that they are trying to please, that are above them, so that those people will not see them as threats. Once in a while, you see somebody who just come out and say, I saw one came out and said Peter Obi is no longer popular. I don't know if you know the person. He said it's no longer popular like
We know all of them, Mr. Obe. We know all of them. They are just disgracing themselves, going from one media house to the other, granting some very senseless interviews, and they sound like broken records. We know all of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's what
That's what
usually goes
usually
on
goes on.
in this space, and um you know people need to be able to understand that the people that are being played are the masses. For these guys, they are hustlers. They are hustlers. You're expecting them. Their type of job is not the normal trade of I'm selling for you this product. Give me my money. You take the product immediately. It's more of a psychological thing, and that's what they've been doing, and they will keep doing that. So unless people start becoming wiser to be able to think for themselves. So it's just like when we are talking about, like in this part of celebrities, for celebrities, yeah, we want them to speak, but we understand also that the situation of control and how their careers can suffer and all that. But the least that we expect from them is at least they should not come out and try to gaslight the people, or not come and try to accuse the people. Remember when they will come out and accuse the people that, oh, you don't have respect, you're disrespecting your everybody. So you're trying to gaslight the people, you're trying to divert the discussion. So we are expecting at least they shouldn't do that. Or at least if you're a musician or whatever, don't start looking for how to release your music when there's a momentum of people waking up, or trying to have a discussion around, taking back their, or holding their leaders accountable. That's when you come out and you want to do your big show and all of that. Anything. That's how some of them do. They try to steal that spotlight or that limelight, so that sometimes they do it thinking that other people will not recognize, and sometimes, to be honest, many of the young people don't recognize that, and they just easily follow them into that hole. So, or at least you should be able to not bring your shenanigans, your, I don't know whether is that period when people are trying to think, people are trying to analyze one or two things. That's when you come and tell us about some girl or some man somewhere, that before you know, you have your drama all over social media distracting the people, you know. So that is what at least we're expecting from some of these celebrities that feel like they are scared to talk, or maybe they don't want to lose their business opportunities and all of that. So at least they should be able to understand. Some of them, I've seen a few of them that actually speaks, you know a few of them also speak, but the majority of them, they are all in cahoots with these corrupt politicians, corrupt politicians. And it's good as we are speaking, Lori, what you're doing is not something that you just say is just speaking. No, because don't forget that the thing that they fear the most is information, and information is actually why Justice Crack is where he is now. you know Justice Crack is not leading some physical protest marching. So what you're doing is actually the most effective. you know I know sometimes and the good thing is that you do it very well. You're very articulate, and you're very yeah, strategic and all of that. And I'm sure that this is what we need to be listening to. you know So I think let me leave it there for now, Glory. Thank you so much.
So
We'll
much.
talk
We'll
more.
talk more.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ove.
And
Thank
we
you.
need
And we need
emojis here.
emojis here
When we
when we
react.
react.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I also want to mention something, in addition to the celebrity part. And I know that I probably came off a bit harsh earlier, but quite frankly, I still stand by everything I said about celebrities. However, there's another angle to it. Do you all know that brands, like these big brands, who are notorious for giving endorsements, ambassadorial deals to these celebrities and influencers, do you know that they are also a huge part of the problem, right? I'll give you an example. Yeah. I remember some years ago, I when I actually started YouTube, yeah, quite frankly, I had no intention whatsoever of becoming an influencer. I had no intention whatsoever of, how people grow their platform and then they just begin to do adverts and all that. I actually had no intention whatsoever. For me, I just wanted a space like this where I could have an honest conversation with like minded people. So I had a friend that kept on talking to me that, listen, you cannot be spending hours upon hours every day creating videos and you're not really monetizing it. You need to monetize what you do. And I said, okay, let's try. Let's even see how it works. Guess what? This person tried to help me talk to certain brands. But guess what? They did not want to work with me. Why? Because as much as I was analyzing the Big Brother Nigeria show, for those of you who watch my analysis every season, you know that from time to time, I talk about things that are happening in the country. I talk about the government, I expose and I talk and I talk and I talk. So this person, this person could not get, a brand. Like I'm not talking about a small, I'm talking about a big brand. They could not get this brand to work with me. And then I went for an event, a gathering of what is it called? Creators, a creators event. I don't want to name the particular event. And this person was talking, one of the ladies was talking. She has been very favored, let me use it that way, favored to have worked with a lot of big brands, which I'm still not going to mention their name, but they are big brands. And guess what defines her personality online? She is completely separated from Nigeria's problems. You know that clean aesthetics of, you see this clean influencer aesthetics of someone who is Nigerian and lives in Nigeria. But if you look at this person, you would think this person is living in a country like Dubai. Dubai has its own problems, right? But it is an almost perfect place to live at, because the basic issues that we suffer for in Nigeria, I doubt if they actually have it there. This particular influencer, I have never seen or heard, and I was an ardent follower of this person. This person has never raised one complaint about anything happening in Nigeria. Never. So the person's content is all clean, aesthetic, this prim and proper, doesn't act like there's any issues at all. Even during NSAS, this person did not say beep. But guess what? This person continues to get a lot of endorsements. So it so happened that in that creators event, this person was one of the panelists, one of the speakers. They invited the person to come and give a special speech about how to be marketable, how to be sellable to brands. And the person was talking and talking and talking, and this person was looking at me straight in the eyes right from the stage, because I was sitting at the front seat. And the person was looking at me straight in the eyes. And the person said, well, that there are some of you, you have a lot of engagement on your page. You do so well, the engagement, your community. But it's so unfortunate that I've actually worked with some particular brands that could have worked well on this person's platform. And they mentioned one time when there was some sort of proposal for this person to work with them and they could not work with this person. They refused to work with this person because they said the person's content does not align with their values. And as person was talking, she was looking at me directly. Now, I'm not going to try to flatter myself to say, oh, she was actually talking about me, but there was a way this person actually described it. And there's this particular product that this particular big brand has that if you've been watching me for a very long time, you probably would have decoded by now what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the answer that I've been looking for. Right now, I'm not blaming this particular creator for anything, no, but I'm just saying that via that gathering that day, I was able to understand why it was difficult for someone like me to get certain kinds of recognitions or brand endorsement with certain brands in the country. Now, what is the point I'm trying to make? What is the kind of point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is that there are a lot of brands that actually exist in Nigeria. Some of them are multinational, some of them are national. They know that if they begin to speak up against the corruption in the country, the impunity happening, they will lose business. They will get into trouble. They will lose business. They will be, how do they put it now? The government is probably going to be on their neck with one case or the other, one issue or the other. So many problems. They're going to encounter a lot of issues that would drive them away from the Nigerian market. So what do? They refuse to work with any vocal, like overly vocal creator or influencer. If you're a creator, you're an influencer, you're a celebrity, and you're very vocal about the madness happening in the country, they will not work with you. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter if you get a truckload of engagement on your content. They are safeguarding their business. For them, it is their business first. They don't care about the values that you will bring. They don't care. What they care about is the money that they could potentially lose if they work with you. So they will not work with you. And because of that, the management of a lot of these celebrities, they want them, celebrities, influencers, creators, they want them to stay away from public discourse that calls out the impunity of the government. That is what happens. All right. So most of the time, it is their management, because the management too is also trying to protect their interests. They don't want to lose how do they call it? Is it the goose that lays the golden eggs? They don't want to lose the goose that lays the golden eggs. All right. So that is what happens. However, I am of the opinion that as much as I need money, as much as I need money, I'm not really keen on endorsements or recognition, to be honest, because what I always do, that's what I always ask myself, right? If I go viral, I go viral. If people know me, they know me. I love to live my life in peace and quiet. However, I need money, right? But will I sit down and watch bloodshed in silence, all because of one flimsy endorsement? No. Will I keep quiet to the hardship? Will I turn a blind eye? Will I turn my back on the hardship, the impunity, the corruption raving down this country like a plague? All because I want to be seen as this pure, white, crystal clear influencer or content creator that does not call out the government on their bullshit? Absolutely not. So long as I have a platform, even though it is only 5 people that will listen to me, I will talk. I will speak up. If the brands, if the businesses, the companies, if they say, oh, they are afraid of working with me, Glory Elijah, because I am vocal about the madness happening in Nigeria, so be it. There are other ways. Thank God I'm not handicapped. Thank God I'm not mentally deranged. Thank God I am a full-fledged human being that has brain. So there are other ways I can make money. Even if it means for me to be selling bottled water, I will sell bottled water to pay my bills. Even if it means for me to wear what I'm wearing right now and move around as I wish, Even if I don't have security following me everywhere or a convoy following me everywhere, so long as I exist and I live and I breathe and I can still take care of myself and my loved ones, I do not need the validation of those people. So I thought I should speak about this other side, as to why a lot of celebrities, influencers, and public figures, why they shy away or pretend or even work hard at gaslighting the everyday Nigeria that all is well in Nigeria. Why? Because they're also protecting their interests, because they're also sending a message to these multinational brands that they are not an activist, that they are not against the government. And also, those brands too are trying to protect themselves because they do not want to be targeted by particular authorities who will feel offended that they are aligned or collaborating with particular persons of interest. That is what it is. Keep my mouth shut. Okay, let's speak with Prestige. As usual, I'm going to mute myself so that we can hear you clearly. Prestige, thank you so much for your patience. You are welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Greeting everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you, Gloria. I just have to commend you for what you're doing, speaking for Nigerian, cause and everything. We need to keep on speaking. Well, having said that, I think what you did earlier was good. All these charlatans throw that come to your platform. That don't care for decent opinion. If they come here to cause you or whatever, just remove them. That'd be the right thing, because there's a lot of charlatan in Nigeria, Nigerian space, for whatever reason, whether for travelist purpose or for political job and other kind of things, or sycophancy to the present government. You can't say anything, you know, that they will be able to tolerate. They will always, come against you. But having said that, let me start where everybody stopped in reference to Justice Crack. I think his last name, his real name is Mark Kidebere. That's my understanding. So I'm not going to regurgitate what everybody has already said, how you got there and everything. I just made a little bit of point. Then I moved to Nigeria issue. So I guess he was arrested for cyber crime. Because they believe he was damaging Nigerian reputation and military reputation. That is nonsense. This is the problem we have in Nigeria. This is in America right now, in a developed country. This is what we call whistleblower. That's exactly what we did. Those pictures were sent to him. So he decided to show the public this is what the Nigerian lower rank military, this is how they have been treated. That is a typical and epitome of a whistleblower. He should be commended. But instead of what happened, he was arrested and detained and some other things, they didn't even know where he was, So, but let me not go there. You see, Nigeria has a problem, They don't want free speech. They don't want military accountability. They consider everything to be, against the law. So you can't even speak to the truth in Nigeria. If you do that, they detain you or wherever. So this is the problem. We have come to a situation right now where because we have a tyrannic government. Anything you do, they arrest you. They won't like you to speak. So I don't know how long this is not alone. This been happening. There's a lot of people that have been in jail for speaking out. This is why it seems like we don't have freedom of speech in that country. I don't know how long this can last or where we can go from here, because this is not, an epitome of a government. Some people said it's a fair, it's a fair government. I would call it a failing government. That's where we are. If you look at the Nigeria problem right now, I think we have plateaued, to the last time when Nigeria was a good government. In the last decades, Nigeria has been regressing. There's nothing good coming out of this, government we have right now, particularly this so-called Tinubu government that we have right now. I was in a platform. Gloria, it was so crazy that I was in a platform yesterday. Yeah, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? And you have, the supporters of this government. There's nothing wrong, being partisan political. Yeah, that's the normal, but you have to come up with facts. They try to compare Taiwo Oyedele, the architect of taxation, that's now a finance minister. They try to compare him with Ngozi Wela. They say that his CV is more than somebody who just can. He may be a technocrat in terms of finance and other, but this man has not achieved anything. The people are complaining in Nigeria that we're suffering. They're talking about the reform which is more of a micro reform. How about the economic feeling of Nigeria? Nigeria is in the worst shape ever than ever been in my lifetime. I will say it, I've been in Nigeria and I do go to Nigeria, every year. I have a small business, but the business is not my own profit. Instead of sending money to people in Nigeria, to my relatives, most of my family here, but, extended relation, we employ them there in a hotel. We have a hotel management in, where I'm from, where, okay? So, the benefit there. So that's the best thing I can do for that country, because I can't go into politics. Because if you go into politics in Nigeria, you're going to join them. You have no choice. If you don't join them, they kill you. You're going to say, because sometimes we think, okay, we have educated people from overseas, that are seeing how the Western world work, like USA, which was kind of breaking of democracy. I don't know if it is anymore, but that's a story for another day. So we say we learn, we go back, but if you go back, if you don't jump them and do the shenanigans they do, they're not going to welcome you. And if you mess up, they eliminate you. So Nigeria has a problem. I don't know how far we can go. Like you were saying something about the celebrity, the Nigerian youth. All they do is BB Niger, all that kind of things. I think there's a lot of story going on in Nigeria right now. I don't even read it. I just read the caption. I don't have time to read it, about blessing CEO. A lot of, nonsense, mundane issue going on. That's what captured the Nigerian youth. When are they going to wake up? Look at look at how the Kenya, some other society, do this. So the point I'm trying to make, whatever we are doing right now, true, just show you that the people in Nigeria is more than just the government. It's the Nigeria as a whole. And I can give you an example. I'm going to use this analogy because I'm a sports fanatic. When it comes to Nigerian sports, you don't follow Nigerian sports, but I'm a Nigerian fanatic when it comes to sports. We are one of the best. But if we look at that, the way the NFL is handling Nigerian football, Nigeria has not hosted any African team in 2 decades. The last time, to my own recollection, that they hosted more than 2 decades ago, it was the Youth Championship. I think it was the Under 20. That's the last time. And we don't have any stadium. I'm just using this as an example, okay? Because what we have right now, it's not just the government, it's about the society, in all ramifications. They have not hosted any international competition. We don't have any stadium, and you call yourself Giant of Africa. We don't have any recognized stadium in Nigeria that FIFA can say, okay, let's go play football here. Not, of course, the national stadium in Lagos has been gone for a long time. Not Balogun Stadium. The Azikiwe Stadium that was built, the stadium that was built in Abuja. That place you can't play football there. The only place you can play football, is Akpabio, Gospin Akpabio Stadium, in Oyo State. Because the government, the state government is the one, furnishing everything. So, and if you look at the NFL appointment, it's dollarized. The one that was said about 2 decades ago, it was dollarized. The one that was recent, people in charge right now, is dollarized. Look at the African Cup of Nations, the Women African Cup of Nations. They are putting us to glory. The last time they played the game in Morocco, they won. Of course, they are 10-time champion right now. Do you know, Gloria? They have not arranged any single friendly match for them. Almost more than a year. And you expect them to go and compete? Not a friendly match. People like Ghana, small country, they have arranged at least friendly. How are you going to keep up your form or your chemistry together? Most of them playing overseas, particularly in America. I know a lot of them, But how are you going to keep team together if you don't even arrange common, friendly match? So the person from NFL was making some utterances the other day because people are calling them out. He claimed that other countries, don't want to play them. What do you mean other countries don't want to? This is a school. The reason why they have not had a friendly match for the Falcon, just talking about Falcon specifically, because they have achieved more than the women football has achieved more than the male football. They have not had a friendly match. So he's giving us that they try to arrange friendly match with some European country. They don't want to play them. What do you mean they don't want to play them? They're not the best in the world. Are they afraid to play you? Or you didn't give reason? So that's an example I'm trying to give, not to get in detail. Where we have come in the societal issue we have. The government, probably the worst. So let's go to the present government. We're talking about where we are right now in Nigerian government, ADC, opposition. They are not united, and they are not going to defeat this present government we have. Okay, they are not. Because they control all apparatus. They control they control the justice. They control INEC. they control the Congress. So how are you going to win? They're going to ring it. We already know what happened to this President INEC. What he did on everything. That nothing is going to come around. But if the election is free and fair, which I doubt, is going to be free. I can bet my money. Tinubu will not be re-elected because the man is incoherent. He has not done anything. Yeah, he may focus on what I consider to be microeconomics, reform is there. What are the economic feeling of the people? Is bad. Tinubu government is worse than what it was before 2022, and I can go, I can give you index of how the government has has gone wrong. I mean, some of them, they reform a little bit better on paper, but that has not been implemented, to help the common people. Everything is upside down, and you're going to be saying, I ask you, what did he do when he first came in? Remove the fuel subsidy, right? Okay, I mean, they claim that the fuel subsidy has already been written and removed under Buhari, but it has not been pronounced. Yes, I'm for the removing this fuel subsidy, but the way he implemented, the way he did it the first day, he said fuel subsidy is done. I know naira revaluation and everything. So everything just mess up the country. I mean, Nigeria is worse off than they was before 2023.
Sir, let me even bring. I'm glad you mentioned that subsidy is gone episode. Let me even bring this one so that you help me analyze it. See, I have someone that's very close to family that is a die-hard supporter of this president. There is no, when he argues, you cry because everything he's saying does not make sense. So I asked him a question. I said, okay, you said this person is a strategic economic powerhouse. So your speech on the day of is the inauguration, they call it, you removed subsidy. You declared that subsidy is gone. And then in your first few months in office, they bought you a yacht. Is it 5 billion or how much?
Yeah, something
And
like
then
that,
they bought, yeah, and then they bought a private jet, and then they changed vehicles for your convoy, and then your wife's convoy, and then bought new cars for senators. You notice that the first 1 year this man came into office, it was spendings.
right?
This was the same person that said that Nigerians should buckle up. Things will be hard. We should manage. So we are here managing, but it's like the people that are going to surround him, he had to make sure that he settled them first. And that's what's been happening ever since. So how does that make sense for someone who is supposed to lead a country to proper and absolute development, sir? Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, talking about Tinubu. Tinubu has no clue what he's doing. Forget about his educational background. It's not about education. Whether he went to school or he don't want to. I mean, the guy has a dodgy background to begin with because we don't know where he's from. We don't know what high school he went to and everything. But if he had been performing, people would have forgiven him because what you use to evaluate a president is their first 4 years. That's their scorecard. If you don't achieve something, what are you going to do your last year when you become, what I consider to be, it's going to be a lame dog, nothing is going to achieve anything. It's going to be enriching himself. By the time this president get out of office, his crony, we're going to have we're going to have the most millionaire we ever had in Nigeria. His crony is going to benefit him. I'm not being going to come here and talk about nepotism. We know what's going on. So that, that's Nigeria. That's where we are in Nigeria. People are going to benefit. All this coastal highway, it's an elephant. In my own opinion, it's an elephant project. But that's not what we need. Yeah, it's a good thing. If you look at it on paper, it's a good thing. But how about the road? You can't go from Lagos to Southeast or past Benin. Look at all this Ore road. That's like a time bomb waiting to happen. Because when I go home every Christmas. I stay about 2 months. I spend about a month. I don't travel by road. I never travel by road. But people travel by road. They tell you that those roads are like a time bomb waiting. I mean, motorable is better. Why not try to rehabilitate all those roads? Before you start building this coastal highway. I don't know I don't know how long that coastal highway is gonna last to complete. I think some phases of it, beginning from Lagos, you can see they completed it. I don't know what he's trying to do, but It's going to take a long time, but people are suffering. Do you know that that road that is they've been built is going to be toll, right? How many Nigerians, Gloria, has money, can afford, for that, to be paying toll on this coastal highway? Can you? How many Nigerians? Now you know what that's going to do. Let's assume the cost of transportation. Let's just assume the cost of transportation is um 1,000 naira. When they put that toll there, the drivers, they pay the toll. They're going to put it to the people, for the cost. It's going to increase the cost. You know how that happens. People are already crying of everything that has gone by right now. So they are not really focused. To me, it's an illusion that Tinubu beat Lagos, because I grew up in Lagos, Surulere to be precisely. Jakande is is the only governor that I know that I achieved something. To my own opinion, like I said, it's an illusion that Tinubu built Lagos because he's predicated on taxation. That's what he did. That's the way. That's the only thing he did. Taxation in Lagos. We know how what happened in that taxation, the company and everything. So that's the story for it. So he has no clue about what he's doing. Because he's not saving Nigeria. If you look at before he came in, things are worse off and worse off today than it was before 2023. And that's what he's supposed to use, to evaluate the president. He has no reason coming back for re-election. If you look at what happened in a country where you are in America, George Bush, the first George Bush Senior, what did he say? No new tax. And he did, he increased the tax, and that was his downfall. Then he never re-elected. Tinubu come in and how he's going to change the government, but he made a statement that made me believe that he's going to replicate exactly what is happening right now, because he said, "I'm going to continue where Buhari stopped." That's exactly his word, and he's doing exactly that. But it's forced down right now. I mean, no electricity. He promised electricity day one. Electricity is what right now, whatever they call band one, band two, band three. Have you ever had that in a same country? Where you call band one, the people pay, even the people that are supposed to be in that band one or whatever, they don't have electricity. They don't generate. I can tell you how many megawatt we have in that country. Right now, it's not even enough to sustain one state like Lagos. But this is what a country have. This is why we're having the grid keep on falling. They are not focused, just a micro economics. That is exactly what's happening in Nigeria. I can go index by index. Nigeria is what can I call up can I talk of GDP growth? Yeah, the GDP has a growth, but they use it, they use it, they use the money that is coming, the money they remove the first subsidy. Okay, let me go back. I'm so emotional. I lost my thought. When they removed the first subsidy, right? They were borrowing money to support the first subsidy. So they said, okay, if we remove the first subsidy, we're going to have more revenue, to help the country. But right now, they are getting a lot of money. I think about last 2 years, they have, the money they save from the borrowing from the first subsidy is almost about 10 trillion. Where is the money? How are people believe in Nigeria is still borrowing? Tinubu has borrowed this less than 4 years, 3 years right now. Tinubu has borrowed more than Buhari borrowed in 8 years. Go and check me. And where are the money going? It's going to the government, corruption and nothing. And you made earlier statement. I was at Jim at that time when you said about state allocation. They are taking part of the state allocation to support the re-election of Tinubu. Have you ever had that? So my state, I'm from Imo, the so-called Hope who's on them, in which we know how you come into power anyway, but that's a story for another day. I'm from Owerri, and whenever I go, I stay in Owerri there. That man has not done nothing. That man has not done that. Do you know why that story came out? It's because they accused who's on them, which is the governor. I think he's the chairman of the governorship. They accused him of misusing the money. So that was why we know, because we never really know that. Yeah.
Sir, if you go online, if you check the comment section of a lot of blogs where this your governor's name pops up a lot of times, the general opinion of a lot of people from your state is that he doesn't even live there, that he resides in Abuja.
Oh no, no, he doesn't live in Owerri. I mean, he may have renovated the Owerri and everything. He doesn't live there. You know that every time he started that with Buhari time, of course, we know when Buhari came to Owerri, he went and rent crowd for people to, from people from the airport to Owerri, people rented crowd and he paid them. He doesn't leave. Look at what he's doing with Tinubu. Whenever Tinubu is coming, he's a friend of Tinubu.
He's
They go line
the
up at the
president
airport.
of Renewed Hope. He's the
Yeah,
head of the Renewed Hope ambassador. So it
exactly.
makes me wonder. So see, sir, this is what I said at the start of my my talk before I opened the floor for conversation. That when people heard this news, why didn't people in different states, because this news concerns the APC governors, I think about 30 of them or
Yeah, but how
31.
about 32 or whatever?
Yeah. Why didn't people march to the government house? Because that is their money. The governors have no right whatsoever to be splitting the funds that they're supposed to use to develop their states for political campaign. It doesn't matter whether it is the current president that wants to be, wants to be re-elected or somebody else, but that is a criminal offense. And I don't know if you heard of the news where, was it last month or 2 months ago, where they were complaining that, oh, there's no money, there's no funds, different sectors of the economy, they were not receiving enough funds, that especially what they were allocated on the budget, what they were supposedly allocated on the budget, that they did not even receive 1% of that. Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, he complained about that. Health sector, the same thing. They were just complaining. So when this particular news, exploded this week, I kept on wondering why are people not reacting as they should? Now, for your own state, you have a governor, whether he was elected or whether he was planted. He doesn't even stay in your state. I don't think he's even, as you said, he's not doing anything. He lives in Abuja. What is his job? Instead of governing the state where he should focus on, no, he's acting as, I don't know if I should call it secretary or PA to the president on the president's re-election campaign organization. Like, it's only in Nigeria this kind of nonsense actually happens. Only in Nigeria.
Thank you. You just said something that makes sense. Nigeria is an epitome, and Nigeria need to be studied or archived in the university. How not to be a fair state. You have to study Nigeria if you want to be a very good state. How not to be a fair state. Nigeria is an epitome of a failing state. They haven't fallen yet because we have government, we have other apparatus. So it's a failing state, and that's where we are right now. You're talking about my governor. He has been doing this. He practically resides in Abuja. Every time Tinubu going somewhere, you see them lining. Have you ever seen such an uncivilized, barbaric attitude? Whenever Tinubu is leaving, you see grown men, they line up at the airport, welcoming, sending him away. I said, are we insane? Is something wrong with us? Whenever he's coming back, you see all the whole governors, they line up to welcome him. Welcome, daddy, welcome, daddy. I said, Gloria, man. I mean, if you want to talk about Nigeria, it's always something every day. Every day. Nothing good ever come at that country. I'm sorry to say it. I love my country. This is my country, I mean, but it is the problem that nothing is ever going to happen in Nigeria. I kind of look at it because some people said we should not we should let him complete his 8 years or whatever. No, the first year hasn't done anything. It has shown out who he is, and that's who he's going to be the second year. He's going to be worse than, because he's not going to be seeking re-election anymore. Like I said, what do you expect him to do if the report card for the first 4 years hasn't shown you this is what this man is capable of doing? So you expect him to do wonder in the last year, when he become what I consider to be a lame duck, president at that particular time. It's, I mean,
All right. All right. Thank
inflation
you
is
so much.
all-time high, insecurity is very high.
Yeah.
I mean, they say the GDP has grown. Yeah, it has grown, on paper, but how is that helping common people? We're very, we're a very poverty country. We have gone lower in terms of poverty level index since 2023. I mean, I can go on and go on all category of indices that we are not going anywhere.
All right. Thank you
Let you
so
say, Gloria,
much.
it's very
Thank you.
tiring. Sometimes you lost your thought
Mm,
because it becomes so emotional because of
yeah.
your love for the
Thank
country.
you.
You don't know where
Thank
to
you
start.
so much, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you.
so much, Prestige. I
All
really
right.
appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. You
All right.
see,
See you next week.
all right. Thank you so much. Guys, you see this conversation we're having, yeah? I just got a comment from Feli D. Feli D says the people have to know their rights first. And that is so true. There's a young man currently that goes from one marketplace to the other. I'm not very sure of his name because his videos pops up on TikTok from time to time. And every time I see his video, I like his video, and I think that is why his video pops up from time to time. But for some weird reason, I get so engrossed in what he does in the video that I forget to look at his name. I don't know why. Bad habit, but I just enjoy what he's doing. Now, what does he do? He moves from one marketplace to the other, like a local marketplace where they sell food stuff. He moves from marketplace to marketplace. What does he do? He goes to these market men and women to educate them, to inform them about what is happening in the country. He goes with his team, right? Obviously, they are recording everything. I fear for him because we live in a country where, I mean, look at what's happening to Justice Crack. This one was behind his phone, passing on legit information, and look at where he is today. But this man has chosen to put himself out there in the open, right? And if you are conversant with Lagos State in Nigeria, you will know that what that young man is doing is very, very brave. Very, very brave, very daring. It takes a lot of balls to do what that young man is doing. Why? Because of the Agbero system, the Agbero culture we have in Lagos State. What is the Agbero culture? The Agbero culture are these groups, this group of I don't know what to call them. Should I call them touts? But there are these people that are, should I call them miscreants, societal miscreants, touts. They are uneducated. Some of them are actually educated, but life happens to them and they got into drugs and illegal substances and they became, some of them are political tools, some of them are just pure street urchins, some of them are just pure criminals empowered by certain entities in the Lagos society. Yeah. And if you see those people who carry ballot boxes and run away during elections, you see those people, they are the ones, they are the Agberos. You see those people that attack voters on the day of election. You see those people that attack voters and tell them, oh, if you don't vote for this particular candidate, it happened a lot during the 2023 election. You see those people that come and say, if you don't vote for this person because he's Yoruba, and you go to your own state and go and vote for your own candidate. See those people, they are the Agberos, they are the people I am referring to. Now, they converge, their conversion points. Sorry, guys, that's my alarm. Their conversion point is usually the bus stops and the marketplaces, right? So every time I see this particular young man preaching the gospel of a better Nigeria at these marketplaces, I fear for him and I pray for the universe's protection over his life because what he is doing is, you can tell that he's very fed up. He's fed up as a young, like that guy is not up to the age of 30. He's probably in his early 20s because he's quite young. And with the passion with which he uses to preach the gospel of a better Nigeria to these market men and women, you can tell that this is a youth that is frustrated, that is fed up of all the nonsense, all the impunity happening in this country. So what did he do? He decided to put himself out there to take the message, to take the information to the people, to educate them on their voters' right, to educate them on their rights as citizens of Nigeria, right? And I really wish that a lot of people can actually do so. Now, I know that not everybody has that courage or that boldness to go into the streets to, do what that young man is doing. But one thing I personally enjoy doing is if I go to the filling station and I meet people, I engage them in conversations, even the fuel attendants. I engage them in conversations about what's happening in the country. And you can tell that these people are actually tired. But it will shock you to learn that a lot of Nigerians do not actually know that they have a right to voice out. They don't know. See, it's shocking. A lot of them don't know. If you go to a local market to buy groceries, I'm not talking about a supermarket, a sophisticated, luxurious supermarket. No, I'm talking about a local marketplace. It will shock you to know that a lot of Nigerians they think that speaking up against the hardship of the country is a violation of the law. That is what they think. I don't know who put it in their head. I don't know who tricked or manipulated these people. Whether it is the church or the mosque that they go to, or I don't know who they interact with. I don't know who brainwashes them. I don't know. Although I kind of have an idea because sometime last year, I put out a tweet where I had gone to the market. Let me tell you what happened. I went to the market and there's this lady that I patronize a lot. I've been patronizing her for many years. And that's the thing. When I patronize you, I build a relationship, like a business relationship. I can patronize you for as much as 10 years. That's the way I patronize people. So this particular one, I've been patronizing her for so many years. And every time I see her, I'm happy, because she has told me a lot about her story and her struggles, and I just enjoy engaging her in conversations. So I saw her on this particular day. Oh, how are you? What's happening with you? How have you been? And she started lamenting because I noticed that the market was kind of scanty. A lot of the vendors, they did not open up shop. So I was asking, like, what's going on? Why is the place looking scanty? It's not a special occasion, is it? And that was where she opened up to me that the leaders of the markets, that's the Market People Association. They have the president of the market, and then they have the women's leader, and then they have some ESCOs. She said that they came to them and they told each and every single one of them that they should go to INEC office. INEC office is where you register to get your voter's card. They told them they should go to INEC office. They should go and get a new voter's card. They should tell them that they misplaced the one they have. They should get a new voter's card. And then when they get the voter's card, they should come and submit it to the leaders of the markets. Now, why should they submit their voter's card? They were told that, some of you are Igbos, you are from here. We know that you want to use Stronget. You don't want to vote Baba and Baba's son into office. In other words, because what she said was that, they had this plan of putting the president's son as the governor of the state, or maybe they want to vote for him for something, one thing like that. So they need the card so that if you want to deceive them by not following their instructions to re-elect Baba, vote for Baba to be re-elected, you just get the fresh voter's card and submit it to them on the day of election, or even before the day of election. They already know what to do. So they will use it to do whatever they want to do. And it's not something they're going to use only for the presidential election. They can use it for any election that they want to use. And ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about a classic case of criminal election rigging, this is it. You don't have to look any further. This is what it is. A classic case of criminality, election rigging. See, it's very interesting. I find it very interesting and intriguing how illiterates that don't know how to push this country further, they are very gifted in the art of criminality. The way they think about these ways of rigging election, even me that is educated, I am shocked. Because in my wildest dreams, I've never thought about it in my life. But the way these people thought about such an idea, I was shocked. She told me that, God forbid, that she is not going to get a new voter's card. And then she started lamenting about the price of things in the market. She showed me pepper, fish, crayfish, because those are the things that she sells. She said, look at all these things that 2, 3, 4 years ago, I used to buy at this particular price to sell. At least if I resell it for a particular amount, I make my profit. She said now it is so expensive that she cannot even buy, not to talk of coming back to her shop to resell, that it is that bad. So why should she encourage what is happening in the country by re-electing the president? Because these people in the market leaders are telling them to do that. And guess what? So I now said, okay, what are you going to do? Because I didn't want to make too many comments, right? Because I was in a marketplace, right? You don't know who is listening. You don't know who is eavesdropping on the conversation. So I just, I expressed my sympathy. I'm like, this is so bad, though. Oh my God. And I said, oh, so what are you going to do about it? And she said she's standing her ground, that she's not going to get it, that I should look around, that neighbors, out of fear, because those people kept on threatening them, that our neighbors, they've gone to go and get a new voter's card. So I said, okay, did they tell people what is going to happen if you don't get that new voter's card? And she said, well, that they said they're going to lock their shop and they will no longer have that shop space. Even though you have paid rent of 1 year, 2 years, they're going to lock the shop. They will chase you out of the market. These are people, miscreants, diabolic entities using the poor man's source of livelihood to threaten them just so that they be a part of their diabolic plans to rig election in 2027. This thing, I think I had this conversation, I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken, because I put out a tweet and then some nonsense elements came out. They're like, you are lying, you are lying. I didn't say it, I just went to go and check the person's account and I realized that, oh, this one, you're part of the ruling party. Little wonder why you are defending and saying I'm lying. Because some people were asking, oh, were you there? Were you there when this conversation happened? But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. So back to that young man, every time I come across this young man's video of what he's doing, sometimes you see him on the pedestrian bridge in a particular area of Lagos. Sometimes you see him in the most weirdest places, but very strategic locations where we have a lot of everyday Nigerians going about their business. He carries a megaphone and he's preaching the gospel of a better Nigeria, also educating people on their rights. And I appreciate that young man so much. I admire his courage. I appreciate his bravery, because if you know Lagos State very well, you will know that what he's doing, he's taking a huge risk. He's exposing himself, his life, his safety. Because what normally happens in cases like that, when people decide to come out of their comfort zone to educate and enlighten people about their rights as a citizen of Nigeria, and to also educate them on how they can be an active participant towards growing Nigeria as it should be. What normally happens to people like that is they normally get attacked by these hoodlums, these so-called agberos. They normally get attacked. So every time I see that young man doing what he's doing, I'm super excited. And I always pray for his safety and well-being, that nothing should happen to that young man, because that is what every well-meaning Nigerian should be doing. Those Nigerians who know their rights, those Nigerians who understand the law, those Nigerians who are more well-versed in the nitty-gritty of politics and how politics should be exercised, and how Nigerians can participate in politics in the freest and fairest ways. We should take it upon ourselves to educate those who do not know. And we should also understand that the population of Nigeria is over 200 million. So the fact that I am on the internet, you're on the internet, it does not mean that we have those 200 million people on the internet. We don't. As a matter of, let me say presupposition, because I won't say it's a fact, because I'm not really sure. I don't think we have about 100 million Nigerians using social media. I do not think so. I'm not sure. I'm not very sure. I can't beat my chest and say we have about 100, let's say half the population of Nigeria using social media. What do I mean? The people who really, really need to hear messages like this, they are out there in the rural areas. Some of them are around you. Some of them are in your backyards. And you know why these messages should be taken to them? It is because they are the most vulnerable of the society. They are the ones that these are corrupt politicians hammer on the most, impoverish them the most, so that they become extremely desperate for any form of help. They are the ones that few days or weeks to election, these corrupt politicians who have grown so fat and useless and senseless on the wealth of Nigeria, using Nigeria's money for their own whatever. They are the ones that go to those people, the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable in the most hidden rural areas. They go to those people and then they go and seize their vote. I think I'm flattering them by saying that they are buying their votes. No, they are seizing their vote. You know, leveraging on that weaponized poverty that they, of course, are wielding. They seize their votes. And this is not me making up stories. These are facts because there are video evidences all over the internet. Every election season, it has become a norm. What do? They go to these people, they give them peanuts, 200 naira, 500 naira. There's one that they give them one. They give them, you see, there's this tin of milk. It's this size. They give them as a cup of rice. They put it inside a bag. And on that bag, they will now put the image of the person that they want to be voted for. And then it is so shameful. When you see these things that they give to these people, it is so shameful. It is disgusting. It is very disgusting. Very disgusting. They carry these tiny, tiny little things and then they give it to these people. And then they tell them, and this person is your brother, this person is your sister. Vote for them, vote for them. And then to now make it look as if they are empathetic towards the situation of the poorest of the poor. They will now look for one person's child and give the person's child a scholarship. And guess what? Do you know what that scholarship is? The scholarship is to take that person's child to the city to work as a house help, as a slave. Yeah, that is the scholarship. Because most of the time they will lie that, oh, we're giving this person's child a scholarship, and they will take that child to the city to work as a house help. It's only very few of them that have the luck of even going to school. So it is our responsibility as Nigerians to, how do I call it now? Should I call it cross-populate information, exchange information, exchange knowledge, teach people, educate our fellow Nigerians who are not very, very sure of their fundamental rights as a citizen of Nigeria, educate them, enlighten them to see where they can be actively participating in what's happening in the country, in the affairs of the country, how they can contribute. Because another thing is, a lot of people actually do not think there's anything they can do. So they're just like, let's leave it to God, though. Let's leave it to God, though. And yeah, I know I said I haven't been to church in the past 5 years, but one thing I told myself is that the day I will step into a church again, that day, security will have to take me out, because I will claim that I have a testimony to give. The moment they give me the microphone and I stand in front of the church, the things that will come out of my mouth that day, they will have to get the church security to come and throw me out. Because my testimony will be the gospel of how the church and the ministers should educate their congregation on how to become active participants in this Nigeria's polity, because it is a necessity. I'm just giving people an expo. Whichever religious belief you are, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, This is a message to you as well. When you go to your place of worship, you can claim that you want to give testimony. Collect that microphone and talk. Because I'm sick and tired of the messages of false hope. When you look at what's happening in Nigeria, I'm sorry, but it doesn't look like there's hope. The only way there's going to be hope is when this particular impunity, this government, the way they are handling the affairs of this country, it is when they are removed and we have a fresh start. That is when we can begin to see hope. But for now, whatever they are preaching to you in your place of worship, that is false hope. False hope, 100%. So enough with the looking away and acting like it's not your business. It is everybody's business. We need to be active. We need to participate. We need to put in our own quota. All hands need to be on deck. Anyways, this is where I'm going to stop talking. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say. Oh, before I move on, I want to give, hold on, please. I want to appreciate AB Okoli for her token that she just shared. AB, thank you so much for the gift. I really appreciate you. The other Saturday, you gave a gift and I did not see it until I literally ended the live and I saw it on my screen. And I felt so bad because I could not give you the shout out that you really deserve. So thank you so much for the previous week. And thank you so much for today. God bless you abundantly. Thank you so much. Okay, somebody wanted to speak. Please go ahead.
Yes, Gloria, I wanted to speak. Thank you for having me again. I decided to come back when we're talking about celebrities. And now all you have just said kind of still boils down to everything just kind of works together. It comes down to reach when you speak of the people that actually, when you talk of Nigeria's problem and how we can get out of the problem, of course, we need people that can be accountable, people that are responsible in places of position, right? But when it comes down to the place of the citizen, the place of the people that can only get themselves out of this conundrum we are currently in, you speak about reach, right? The people who are most affected, many of them are not necessarily on the internet, but their reach, and that's why celebrities, we cannot step we can't keep our legs off of celebrities. I know someone said, "Oh, celebrities are not a problem." They are the problem. I have three categories of people that I feel like can do better in Nigeria. Of course, politicians are a problem, right? And the male ego is a huge problem, the patriarchal society we have, right? But there are also three people that can contribute a lot and not doing enough for me. Just like everyone has pointed, the celebrities. And why it's so important. Firstly, we have so many wrongly ordained or made celebrities in Nigeria right now. People that are not smart, people that never used to do the right thing. Somehow they just became celebrities because the world forgot or because we just lost our moral compass or something. So many of them. And while many of them will not voice out today, is because if things were to be better, they know that they know they do not deserve to be placed on the pedestal they're on. They know. Apart from those that are working with the current government, there's so many of them that are exploiting the society, exploiting the people. They act like nothing is not it's happening because they're hustling. They're hustling for their money. They need the attention of the people. And the thing is that just like the people don't know their rights, they don't know that their attention is what is boosting these people's wealth. These people give them the barest minimum and they eat it and swallow it. And it's like inferiority complex, it's too Nigeria's problem is plenty, but the more we get worse, it can never get better because people need to know better, right? The celebrities are a huge problem and they have so much reach because these people that you can't reach sometimes on the internet, they watch movies, right? Or they adore these people. They believe these people. You talked about religion, the pastors, sorry, the second people, celebrities, the second people are pastors, are religious leaders, right? They are lying, they're hypocritical. Oh my God, where do I want to start? Nigerians are more religious than they are spiritual. Okay, like when you started to talk about how somebody was talking to you when you were giving that story, right? A lot of persons will listen to you, and the next thing they'll start to say is glory, oh, hate, jealousy, da 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 da. It's so interesting, and you sit there, you're like, what am I jealous and what am I hateful about? They don't like the truth, and they Nigerians have created this fantasy. Like, poverty makes people to create a fantasy, right? And then they now look up, and they're it still boils down to that poverty mentality, and that education system that has so deteriorated that people can't use their brain. Like, common sense is not common. Yeah, and we don't want the truth. And okay, let's now come down to Nigeria. Capitalism, classism, capitalism. I've lived in Europe. I've lived in a couple continents, but what Nigeria did is they went and took the US way of doing things. Like, we just wanted to be America through and through, right? If Nigerians even behaved a little like maybe Europeans, a little bit of sense will come in, but we're just completely, we want to be American. So that capitalism makes people to exploit, right? And then the classism makes the other people to just look up to, the problem is plenty. But I want to also say to you, Glory, you are a celebrity, you have a platform of organic people that actually think with their brains, right? They're not there for money or anything. And I want you, there's so many people that are like you and also that think well from Nigeria. They might not be the loud ones, because the loudest ones are usually the empty ones, honestly speaking. And we don't promote anything great. But like you're saying, we need to keep speaking. Okay, look at the engagement now. Another thing that boils me is the engagement. When any platform that is reasonable never gets the engagement. So it's a big problem. The world has moved from physical to this web, right? And because there are no jobs, and why celebrities are important as well, there are no jobs in Nigeria. So most of our young people, apart from no jobs, there's nothing really that is making our young people to participate as physically, right? Like the man initially pointed out, sports is not even there. Sports used to be something where you can get young people to gather and participate and indulge and engage. The government is not there, so because nothing is working, right? It's just hustling and struggling. Young people start thinking of money early because their parents don't have money. It's such a cycle that is not helping us. But I'm almost missing my point now, but it's we just need to get back to a place where we can get people to think, right? I don't know, but yeah, the celebrities are a big part of Nigeria's problem. They're a big part of Nigeria's problem, I have to say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then,
Thank you
sorry, the
so
third
much.
group, let me just say the third group, women. The third group, women. I have to say women. I have to say women in Nigeria are the third group. The women in Nigeria don't know how powerful they are. They don't know. And if there's any group of people that are more led by these celebrities and these pastors, women. And women, you have the children. I believe the women in Nigeria collectively can do better as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Telly D. Thank you so much. You see this thing, whilst we were speaking here, there was this thing you mentioned about how Nigeria so wants to be America through and through. You were so spot on. Let's give some examples. How mostly in the lifestyle scene, in the entertainment scene, Nigeria is literally copy is what they call, is it culture harvesting from different parts of the world? Is that they're borrowing Halloween from America, or they are borrowing beauty enhancements styles, BBL, and this. They borrow so many things. They borrow, oh, currently it's Afro house music, and I am a fanatic of Afro house music. We borrow so much, but the things you expect that we should borrow to cause a drastic change in this country, we shy away from it. The same America that we know that America is not like 100% okay, right? Because there's just a plethora of issues over there as well. But at least we know that their law works, right? The same America where people in Nigeria borrow all these different lifestyle and cultural things, that is the same country where not all, but the majority of their celebrities, they are very vocal. And you know why they're vocal? Because cancel culture is is premium over there. See, Americans don't joke. When was it? I can't remember what happened exactly, but on social media, across social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, Americans went on a crazy online protest. And what was that protest? The thing they were talking about at that point in time, any celebrity that posts content that is not addressing that particular issue, they block you. And you know what that does to the algorithm on social media? It sends a signal to the algorithm that your content is harmful to your audience. So you're now going to a shadow ban, right? So oh my god, that was what Americans did to a lot of their celebrities. A lot of celebrities in a few hours, they lost millions of followers. People were blocking, and people were making videos. They'll be like, okay, today we're blocking this particular celebrity because we're addressing this issue, and this celebrity is making a video talking about how they went to go and do their nails. Everybody, operation block the celebrity. They don't report the content, they just block the celebrity. And that was what they were doing. And if they pick one celebrity, they block that celebrity. They block not just their account, but their content across all social media platforms. And a lot of celebrities suffered. Guess what? A lot of them lost brand endorsements because those brands are not stupid. They need your engagement. And where does the engagement come from? It comes from your following. So a lot of them lost engagement and brands engagement endorsement. And some of them were so unfortunate that it was at that same point in time that they just signed new deals. So they lost. They could not meet their KPIs. They lost a lot. So what happened? It became a season of apologies. Some of these celebrities, they now started doing apology videos, playing the victim. And you know now, humans will always be humans. Some people, their heart melted. But that thing went on for weeks. And it had the impact it was intended to have. So when we talk about how Nigerians enjoy borrowing lifestyle from here. You borrow Halloween, you borrow this one, you borrow veneers teeth, you borrow BBL, you borrow Ozempic, you borrow. Nobody is saying you should not enhance your body or enhance your looks. I mean, do what you want that gives you joy. But as you are borrowing, can you at least also open your eyes and borrow the one that will cause a massive change in your immediate society? I'm not saying we should introduce cancel culture because, quite frankly, I don't know if it's really going to work in this part of the world. I doubt, but it could be given a try. But I'm also looking at the aspect of how Americans immediately respond to situations. Americans as a people, just like South Africans, they don't care which president is in power. The moment the president is not serving the interest of the people, you will just see a protest that involves 1 million Americans. Where are they marching to? They are marching to the White House. They surround the White House. Go on the internet, videos are there, video receipts are there. They surround the White House. They stand in front of the gates, except maybe the president will follow an underground tunnel to leave the White House. The president would literally be locked up inside with his officials. Americans, they do not care. They can be crazy, they can be doing whatever they want to do, but when it comes to fighting for their rights, they are not, see, these people, they are not reactive. You can't say, oh, they're just reactive. No, they begin to give the signals, right? But one thing I admire them for is they do not even need to announce a protest. Once 100 people comes out for the same cause, you will just see how people are leaving their jobs, they're leaving their offices. If the company wants to shut down, whatever, they just leave their offices, they leave their businesses. You will just see how 1 million people will just gather at once, 1 million or maybe 500, and they will pick strategic locations, and they also make it known to the government that we put you there So our voice should be more powerful than yours. The voice of the people should be more powerful than the voice of the government, especially in cases where there's a clash of interest between the government and the people. So thank you so much, Felidi, for raising that point. And it's a very valid point. Also a message to Nigerians. If you want to copy from other countries, copy the one that will better your country. Copy the things that will better your country. Because at the end of the day, you have no other home. If you don't know what's happening currently, please watch the news or do your research. All around Africa, a lot of African countries are chasing away their fellow Africans. Yup, it's happening. It's happening in Tunisia. There's Ghana against Nigerians. There's South Africa one that's happening. And the thing is just happening, it's just happening. And not just in Africa, also in some other European countries around the world. It's happening. And God forbid, but it's looking like a time will come where the only place you have to go is your home, where you're originally from. If you cannot build your home, if you cannot set your home to be conducive for you and your loved ones, I don't know, you might just become a global hermit. You might have nowhere to belong. As much as we say that the world is a global village, but it's looking like some people don't like that idea of being a global village anymore. Some people are beginning to want to divide everything. Some people are chasing people back to where they come from. So fix Nigeria. Let's stop looking for messiahs. Let's stop looking for heroes. You yourself can become that hero for yourself. So let's do the right thing. I'm going to stop talking here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much. Oh, I love this particular comment from Bibi Winnie. Bibi Winnie is saying in Nigeria's constitution, there is a clause that says political leaders in office can't be prosecuted until they leave office. That's why a lot of them want to use the Kennedy playbook to become a senator. Also, they are scared of they know that, for example, now a governor will be scared of, after his term runs out, or maybe he doesn't secure a second term, he's scared that, oh, if he comes out and is not holding any political office, he can easily be prosecuted, so they want to immediately become a senator. And you have a valid point, because a lot of governors who already have been rejected by their parties from securing a second term, what they're doing now is they're rushing to become senator. Very shameless entities. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is all. I feel like we've actually said a lot today. Thank you all so much for your time. I do not take it
Glory.
for granted. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Can I just say like maybe a few seconds? I
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I was
thank.
about to sign out, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, I muted you. I wanted to mute myself. Apologies for
Oh,
that.
sorry
Sorry.
about that. Yeah, I'm saying it's important for us to be reminding also our people, like sometimes, this, there are different ways that these politicians or some of these corrupt people always come in, which is the divide and rule. And we have to keep reminding people to never fall to their tricks of sectarianism, like tribalism and all of this, because that's what they keep using. They keep using tribal sentiments and just to gain the support of their people. And when they feel like, because no matter what they do, they also need consent somehow from the people. They also need consent somehow. So they might not depend totally on that, but they need it to validate, for people to, to try and show people that, oh, we have some people behind us. So don't fall for their tribalism, and because that's what is going on, and it's real. We can think that it's not real. It's real. I've had conversations with some people that are from different tribes in Nigeria, and when you see some of them talking, these are not people in politics. These are everyday people. But sometimes when you see some of them talking, some of them are so myopic to even believe that this whole thing is all about tribe versus tribe, or this group versus that group. We only have the corrupt and the people that are not corrupt. We have the wicked and the good people. So, but they always use all of that to try and fool people, and we have to be wiser than that. If not, they are still going to keep coming back with the same narrative. So, and all this so-called, like you've said, like you've said perfectly, all these bellevists and fake activists, we have to be very concerned about. We have to be very, let our antennas be up. Don't just follow what they are doing, because what they do, there's no doubt that they are doing some good in the society, and that is how they operate. That is their modus operandi. They do some good, and the main job, which is to derail and disenfranchise and steer the people to a wrong place where they cannot be able to actually change or demand change from the system. So when they see that they are trying to be exposed, they now go and look for somebody that is going through, that person is really going through hell somewhere. And they do that show of good again, and to gain the sentiment of some people, especially some of our, some of our elderly people say, "Oh, my pikin, my, the way we talk, hey, now my pikin, na very good man, oh, a very good woman, oh." But the game is to get that sympathy and that followership, so that they can now steer the people again to a wrong direction by either demoralizing them or disenfranchising them, or just derailing whatever kind of momentum that they have. So let us be very wise. Thank you so much, Glory.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ovi man. And listen, I'm happy that you had to reiterate that again. We need to be smart. Nigerians, we just need to be situationally aware of what is happening. And I will not stop. I mean, any platform, normally I do not comment on blogs, but this week I found myself commenting because, oh my goodness, you will see 6,000 comments on a video addressing issues of these activists and stuff, and you will see a mob mentality there. Oh, this one is never wrong in my eyes. It was so scary, and it got me thinking a lot. Like, oh my goodness, if one activist like this can, has the ability to cause a proper and complete erasure of sense and sensibility from this amount of people, imagine what could happen during election. Because that is when their true colors will be exposed. During election, they will not come and remove that face that they've been hiding. They'll come and remove it. Now you hear some of them talking about, oh, I'm not partisan, I cannot tell you this, but you see them bashing the opposition. You see them bashing the opposition, but guess what? They claim they are not partisan, but they are too afraid of calling out the corruption and impunity in government. So let's be smart, let's be wise, just as Mr. Ovie has advised. Thank you so much, Mr. Ovie. I really appreciate that reminder. Thank you so much. And I'm really hoping that, even though we're not really much here today, I'm really hoping that this video goes really far and wide, that people just think and act and participate in the polity of Nigeria. Before I sign out, I want to also give a special appreciation to TD8281. Thank you so much for your token, for your gift. I really appreciate that. God bless you abundantly. And thank you so much for contributing to the conversation. Thank you so much for the chat. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate. And to every single person that joined the conversation today, that vocalized their thoughts or engaged in the comment section, I appreciate all of you, or even the silent listeners and the silent viewers. Your attendance here means a lot. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. We'll continue the talk. We will not stop talking. We just really hope that we do not talk in vain, that the message is passed and the people that need to hear it, they get the message from top to bottom. That is all I can hope for. But in the meantime, thank you all so much. And please enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, Enjoy a pleasant evening. Bye.